gets me more pumped for Star Trek than the fucking StreamYard 30-second countdown number. Don't you agree, Lindsay?
Oh, I was straight up just like jamming over here. Like I don't know if you guys could see me, but I had a little dance going on.
Guys, we had this all planned out. We saw a whole bunch of Star Trek, and we're just gonna cancel it all now. We're just doing the StreamYard 30-second countdown number for the rest of the stream. It'll be amazing. Enjoy.
Why not?
Like really like small like cameras on us in the background, and we're just like grooving out.
Yeah.
But like really, really small, because we can't interrupt the countdown like that.
No, yeah, you don't want to interrupt it. There's an essence to it.
Well, have you seen those YouTube shorts where it's like clip from a movie and clip from a random game? Like, the YouTube short, the countdown is the main thing, and we're just like the kind of distraction in the background where people are actually watching the countdown.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, what are those people doing? That's distracting. Oh, but yes. So this is actually a long and delay stream because we were supposed to do it a while ago, but kept on getting pushed back. Then other stuff came up that I thought was kind of relevant. So there's other ideas for streams, and it was like, oh, that's a fun idea, and that's easier to do. So we'll get that one through. But this is the one we've been sitting on for a while, and I think it's good to actually sit down and get this done. This is Ashleen's. She wanted to talk about the time travel stuff in Star Trek, and we are covering a lot. We're not covering all the time travel stuff, though. I want to make that clear. There's still stuff we're missing. There's stuff that like I felt like didn't quite qualify, but there's also stuff that like there's just too much.
Like I can't stress enough. I've been watching so much time travel in
Yes.
Star Trek over the past couple of months,
Mm-hmm.
and I was still watching it like literally I was watching it less than an hour ago.
Yes. I think you saw the ones you've never ever seen wrapped up like an hour ago. Although there's a couple here that I haven't seen for a minute.
Normally,
I'll admit I haven't seen Tomorrow for a minute.
yeah. My thing is, I would normally be like, oh well, like let's watch it again.
Yeah.
And get more back into it, and probably should make sense. But there was so much.
Mm.
No, I'm actually glad to hear that you guys were scrambling today, because I not long before we went live, I finished watching the Star Trek Discovery episode. Time travel magic will make a sane man go mad.
Yes.
Like that was the last one I managed to squeeze in before we went
Well,
live.
we just like it's been a minute since I've seen that one. Although I was pretty sure Ashley never seen Face is Strange, so I showed that one to her last night.
Yeah.
Which in some ways is a pseudo sequel to Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad. Although I think it's better. We'll get into it when we get into the individual episodes. But give you an idea, the list is 36 topics. One of them
rows.
Yes, one of them is the entire second season of Star Trek Picard, which we did not rewatch.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Because like it's a huge time travel story. You can't really ignore it, but
I'm pretty sure we've watched Picard season 2 3 times for this show already. I don't think we need to watch it a fourth time.
I'm not watching it again. Yeah.
He brought up at the beginning, and I was like, "Well, there's the whole thing in Picard season 2," and I was like, "We're not gonna do that."
Well, I think it's worth talking about, but we're not rewatching. We're not rewatching.
No.
We might rewatch the scene where Data plows down Picard with the car, because that's amazing.
Oh my goodness, it's so. Listen. Picard, I don't think is a very good show, but sometimes you find gold in the least expected places, and sometimes gold.
Especially in season 2, there are those moments where it's so bad that actually kind of leaps over into good, ironically, and it's just glorious. And
I love that edit of it that you did with like the beep beep.
Yeah, the edit.
That's just like what the scene is to me.
I forgot you made that. That was really good.
I have to see if I can dig it up now. Guys, talk amongst yourselves. I have to find this edit now.
No, it's I love that you bring up the sometimes there's gold in something that's bad, but I also feel like if you surround something that's gold with enough bad, it just becomes platinum. So that moment just becomes even better, just because everything around it is so miserable.
Yeah.
I was so bored, and then we got to that. I may have thrown my hands up in joy.
What's funny too is that's the same episode where what's her name from Scott Pilgrim starts singing for some reason, right?
Yeah, she breaks into Pat Benatar in the middle of the episode, and it's like, and and it's also like, why? What are we watching now? I'm so confused. When are we?
Yeah, it's so. There's just something. I remember when we watched it. You rewinded so that we could see it again,
Mm,
or at least I don't know. I think that happened. I believe it happened in my heart.
yeah.
Or I feel just for the sake of our audience, just in case, and if you've never seen it before, there's Star Trek Picard season 2 is nearly unwatchable, but there's a moment in it where the actor who plays Data from Next Generation, playing a completely different character, drives a car and uses it to run over Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he flies up into the air above the car.
No, that is my edit you're
Oh, it
thinking
is?
of. Yes,
Okay.
I had fun with that edit.
Your edit is what that scene is to me.
True,
It's
true.
the true essence of the edit. I feel like it does a good job of capturing what it feels like to see it in the middle.
Well,
Such a
crap.
slog.
Listen, I can't find it, but if you want to, we have it on stream. You can go back and find it. We talk about Star Trek Picard. We talk about all 3 seasons. How season 3 is easily the best, but still not enough to save that fucking series. But yeah. But that's not the topic today. Today we're talking about time travel stuff. And I even did I'll be honest, I even did a little clickbaitery on the title. Is there any good Star Trek time travel stories? Spoilers, some of the best ones are. But there's also some sinkers too. There's some no. They all suck. They all suck. That would be controversial. But the first one up. So I tried to organize it in somewhat random, but also get some big ones at the beginning and the end. So the first one up, Time's Arrow. What do we think of Time's Arrow, which is the big season 5 to 6 cliffhanger?
I mean, I had seen this one as a kid,
Mhm.
but rewatching it for this, I had forgotten how much Mark Twain was.
Yeah, dude, this is one of those things where Mark Twain's a significant character, and he's not bad. He's not.
No, the dude's nailing it. The actor's incredible, and I think he's more or less used well. It's also just funny to me that when they go on the holodecks and do their little games and like their little plays, like they go and hang out with famous people from history, and then when they accidentally travel through time, they go and hang out with random people in history.
Yes. But yeah,
This
no,
is a
this
pretty
is
classic one though.
I always thought this was a good one. This has always been my second favorite of the big cliffhangers from TNG. Obviously, Best of Both Worlds is always like, as a child, having Riker say fire on the Borg cube and then waiting 3 months to see that what happens after that traumatized me. So that's always going to be number one. But I always thought Time Arrow was like a fun one. It also had a cool story. Essentially, they find Data's head in this cave, and so like Picard is even making a concerted effort to not put Data on away missions after that, knowing that something might happen that caused him to die, and he's like, I'm not going to put you on this away mission. You're not going. And Data's like, well, we shouldn't be like avoiding this, because perhaps avoiding it is what's going to cause it. Picard's pretty much telling him, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure if I put you on that planet, you might die. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. Well, we're going to roll the dice on this, Data, and just kind of assume you go on that planet. It's bad, And I like that element. Overall, I think this is a solid 2-parter. I enjoy it quite a bit. And you bring up Mark Twain. Yeah, I like Mark Twain in this. I like Guinan in this.
This is a good Guinan episode. She doesn't get a lot, but when she gets a good one, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little silly. Like, again, the Mark Twain stuff is like, but it's
silly, but
good,
it works in my opinion.
I do just think it's so funny that Mark Twain is just like a character in this episode.
Yes, he's
like,
just a character.
Oh, and not just Mark Twain, but the bellhop, Jack London.
Oh yeah, Jack London. Yeah,
he's also a famous author. Fun fact here on YouTube, we do know book writers sometimes, not often, but it happens.
We read.
Reading. Oh, you guys do audiobooks too?
Yeah, I read the comments. That's reading, right?
Yeah.
Doom scrolling is my favorite book.
But and the aliens in this are kind of fun and unique too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the aliens are kind of creepy. Like they suck the
Right?
souls of like humans, but like they don't want to be detected because they'll be detected in our century. So they go back to the 19th century and like steal the souls of. I mean, it seems really impractical, but you know, you're willing to go along with it because it makes the story happen. I also appreciate that. Um, and we do see it occasionally later, but this is like full-fledged period piece where they have like the full set of the full street and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I like the effort put into this. This is
Yeah.
cool in my opinion.
And I do really like that all of like the stuff that the aliens
Mhm.
do is kind of like disguised as like a I forget what exact illness they think it is, but
Oh
I
yeah,
always
it's
thought
during
that
the
was
yeah.
that was a cool setup.
Yeah,
I thought it
hiding
was like
it during like the flu. There was a flu going on, so they are hiding it as like the flu, which I thought was
yeah,
a
and
cool
Yeah,
I
idea.
was very almost kind of like a cool setup for like a sort of like a mystery novel. I could see, unprecedented amounts of people are dying from
Mhm.
the flu,
Mhm. So I'll go ahead and give you where I'm at with the ranking. This for me, this is a high A, but I could be talked into putting this in S very easily. Where you guys sit with it?
I would put it in A.
A definitely seems good, if for no other reason, because it's just funny, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's that bit where Jack London brings the anvil in, and Data forgets people aren't supposed to know he's super strong, so he
Yes.
just like lifts the hand,
He
and
just
he's
lifts
like,
it up
"Oh,
with one hand. He's like, "Whoa, are you super strong?" Then he drops it. Ow. You know?
ow!" I'm pretty sure he just says "ow," right? Literally, just "ouch." Like
Yeah.
that's incredible. I love Brent Spiner.
No, Brent Spiner's awesome.
Brent Spiner's great.
All right,
Remember
so
that one time he ran over?
John with Picard.
Oh, and also I just I have to shout it out. Like the traveling like Shakespeare play troupe
Oh, yeah.
that the crew is. I love the scene where they're reading from A Midsummer's Night's Dream. It's so cringy. It's great.
That's the one thing I will say that all the crew has fun here, except for Worf. Sadly, he gets stranded on the ship. Everybody else
Yeah.
gets their little adventure on the planet. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a part of me, just because I'm a fan, would have loved that LaForge wasn't quite able to figure out exactly what Day did to travel back in time. So he had bring O'Brien with him, and it would have been nice to bring O'Brien there, since that would be the last time he's on the TNG crew for a big crossover before he goes to Deep Space Nine. Would have been fun
would
to
it
have him
have
there too.
been? Oh, that would have been good.
It wasn't
O'Brien would have
necessary,
also
but
solved it
I like
immediately.
O'Brien,
So
yeah.
O'Brien's the
How
best.
a transporter accident happens, me and Dad are like, this would not be a problem if O'Brien.
Yeah, keep in mind, every time there's an issue with the transport, O'Brien is not at the wheel, guys. Just saying. No.
This is why he gets no time off.
Yeah. Okay, so next one is a big one as well, and we're going to the original series, City on the Edge of Forever, which I believe is towards the end of the first season.
Mhm.
Kirk, they encounter they encounter the thing that's the background of this video. Here we can do this real fast.
The Guardian.
Yeah, the Guardian of Forever.
Oh, forever. You're right. Yes.
Yeah, the thing right there, glowing circle that talks by lighting up. So 60s.
So 60s.
Yes, a way essentially Dr. McCoy accidentally drugs himself up, goes insane, and then he beams down this planet and dives into this circle back to the past. Spock and Kirk have to follow him because I'm gonna cough
Okay.
randomly, and you're not gonna know why I paused. But yeah, they follow him because history has changed when he went back in time. The only people aren't affected are people with the landing party are Spock, Kirk. I want to say Uhura, Scotty, and maybe a red shirt or two. I don't think it was Sulu with him. But anyways, yeah, they're the only people unaffected. Kirk and Spock go first, and essentially they're like, if we fail, you guys gotta go back and try to stop whatever happened and change it. But yeah, the Federation isn't founded, and they have to go fix it. They go back in time. Kirk falls in love with Joan Collins. Actually, one of the better one-episode romances in pretty much all Star Trek history.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
And then, God, it's such a tragic story too, because like she's just this good person pushing, good ideas and like almost pro-Federation stuff back before the Federation was even a thing. When does this take place? Is it the 20s? It's supposed to be in the 20s where they go back to, I want to say.
Is it? I always
Something
thought
like
it
that.
was supposed to be I always thought it was supposed to be closer to World War II, but I think
It
that
might be
just
40s. I was
because
thinking
if she-
40s too.
because if she lived, like the Nazis would win or something.
Well,
It's gotta be
I
like-
believe
Always
her
that plot
death
point.
kind of resulted
But,
in the
yeah.
Nazis kind of winning
Yeah.
or something
Yeah,
like
it
that.
doesn't obviously mean that it was happening during World War II, but I guess I associate it with that time
Mhm.
period because of that plot point. But what I'm saying is I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
It-
I can never remember, when did World War One end? 1920. So sometime between 1920 and like 1933 probably would be like a safe, like
Yeah,
maybe a little
yeah.
bit later than that.
Mm-hmm. And
But
yeah.
it is funny, and this is not the only time today we're going to talk about how, oh, we changed something in the past. Oh God,
Yeah.
Nazis! That's going to be
Yeah.
a bit of a
Yeah, we're gonna
recurring-
come back to that one for sure. But yeah, so yes, he goes back in time, and then essentially Spock's able to figure out what happened, and what happened was because at first they're kind of like, so McCoy accidentally kills this woman, and that creates the Nazis taking over. And essentially, he figures out no, McCoy doesn't kill this woman. McCoy saves this woman, and Kirk's falling in love with this woman who's fated to die, and he has to let her die to save the Federation, essentially save the future he knows. It's really fucking tragic. This is legit probably my favorite episode of the original series. I absolutely love this episode. It is classic.
It's a banger.
This is S tier for me. What do you guys think?
I'd
Well,
go with S too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a progenitor of the recurring Star Trek theme of we changed something in the past. Oh God, Nazis now. So it has to be
Yes.
S tier.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
But
God,
also,
yes.
it's just like I love their relationship. They're so cute
Yeah.
together. Like you can tell instantly that he's got an appreciation for her because the kind of person she is, and like she's like kind of interested in him. But it just kind of builds, and you feel it. And as it's building, it's like Romeo and Juliet in a way because you know it can't work, and so it's
Yeah.
effective. You know, it's
Yeah.
simple, but it works.
It's a good one.
I do think it's kind of funny. In the Star Trek universe, if you mess around in the past, either you go back and nothing happens and you did everything perfectly correct, or B, everyone's a Nazi now.
Yeah.
Like it's
Just Nazis
it's-
took over,
It's
you
either
dumbass.
one or the other. There was no in between.
It does seem to happen more often than you'd expect. One slight thing changed. Oh, Nazis now.
Yeah, you never see them like go back and then they come back and someone's wearing like a different shirt or something.
Mhm. So next one up is the only entry from the animated series, and I'll be honest, I've never sat down and watched all the animated series. Although Lower Decks did make a lot of it canon, so
A lot of
that's
it, yeah.
fun because it was always questionable where not it's canon. And the Lower Decks went through and just referenced a whole bunch of stuff from it. So yeah, it's pretty much canon now. It does get insane on that show, but this is I think the second or third episode of the series. It's really early in the run, and
It's the
it's
second one, yeah.
it's widely considered the best episode of the series. It's yesteryear, essentially. Yeah, they returned to the Guardian of Forever. I didn't even think about that. Guardian of Forever is twice in a row here.
Oh, they did. That's right.
yeah, yeah. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, they go to the Guardian of Forever, yeah, Spock is no longer a member of the crew, and they have to fix what happened to make him a member of the crew. And essentially, his pet Shalott died, and he had to kind of help the Shalott die. It's
Yeah, he has to basically be like,
yeah,
let your dog die, Spock. This will make you better.
yeah. It's pretty solid episode, honestly, especially for the animated series.
Yeah. I
it-
mean, that premise honestly sounds like it could have been in like a main show, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, it does feel like that.
Someone, I mean,
And
honestly,
it's a DC Fontana script as well for this. So
I mean, it does kind of remind me, of course, of City on the Edge of Forever, where they have to go back in time and sort of, instead of
Mm.
saving something, they have to let something die.
yeah, kind of a similar idea. This is a solid one. I'd put this in A. Where are you guys sitting with it?
I'm actually going to be. I think it should go S, just because I think it's one of the rare time travel stories, and that we're going to talk about, where it happening doesn't contradict itself. Like it kind of makes sense in a way. Like there's like Does that make sense? Am I overthinking it? Like, I feel like it's such a simple little thing. It's such a simple little change that can happen. It doesn't really drastically, like a lot of these time travel stories we're going to talk
That's
about
true.
Yeah.
would have like drastic repercussions on the
I
entire
mean,
universe.
we were literally just joking about how there's a subtle change and now everybody's Nazis, and that's a lot of these stories.
Exactly.
But this is one where there's a subtle change, and Spock just is a member of the crew. And I do love how Kirk's like, the fuck? No, Spock's got to be a member of the crew. Jesus Christ, that's not right.
I need my boy. Where's my boy?
Yeah, the fuck. Where do you?
But I mean, I'm okay with A, but I just think S, just because like if you watch this episode, you will want to watch the animated series. I've watched like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 episodes. I haven't watched much, but I keep going back to it specifically because this episode was so good. I know that this series has it in it to to really do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to put it in S.
Okay.
Honestly, I really enjoy all of the little glimpses we get into Spock's childhood.
Yeah.
Like, remember that one time Sarek was just like, Spock would run off into the woods for multiple days on end, and then he'd come back, and I'd be like, what were you doing out in the woods, son? And then he would ignore me, and I was like, what?
My pet Shalot was dying, father.
Also, the Shalot is pretty dang cute, man. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Like,
it's pretty epic.
So next one up is a TNG season 1 episode. We'll always have Paris.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's TNG season 1. It's probably one of the better season 1 episodes. So like, essentially, they repeat a minute. Like I think in the teaser they repeat like not even a minute, but like a few seconds of time. They end up repeating, and they recognize it. And there's this guy, Dr. Mannheim, I want to say, who's this doctor who's experimenting with time nearby, and has a distress signal, and he is married to a woman who Picard stood up on a date a while ago, and he's always wondered about that. Okay, so
if I die, I need you.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. There's even that scene where
wife.
the Dr. Mannheim thinks he might die, and he tells Picard, "If I die, I need you to take care of my wife." And it's like, what?
You're a better man than me, Picard. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah. It's like, I didn't know she couldn't take care of herself.
You
I
can't
didn't
just
know.
hand off your wife like that.
What's everybody's thoughts on this one? Because I definitely have
So-
things to say.
my initial thought as I was watching this episode was this a script left over from the original series that they just
It vibed
slapped?
a bit like that, although honestly not as good as a lot of the original series.
Well, there's a reason why they carried it over and didn't actually produce it in the original series. But I will say, in this episode's defense, like, it's a little Captain Kirky with how there's a hot lady with history with Picard and all that, and she's wearing a very PG-13 outfit, let's say. But the ending is kind of neato when there's suddenly 3 Datas.
Yeah.
I love 3 Datas.
When there were
That's
3
so
Datas,
cool.
I was like, yeah!
So there are 3 scenes in this episode where they do the time travel thing. The first thing's the teaser where they repeat a minute. That's all right. Then they do the thing in the turbo lift where they get onto the turbo lift. They're discussing what's going on. And then the turbo lift doors open, and it's them getting onto the turbo lift again. And they're like, wait, what? Who? What? Huh?
Yeah.
Who are you? Who are we? What's going on? It's really fun. And I like how we follow the people onto the turbo lift, but then we transition to the people off the turbo lift. And I think it's fun. And then the 3 days thing is really fun. The overall story is kind of nowhere on this.
I have to say that 2 out of 3 of the time travel things had Data talking to himself.
Yeah.
And that was the best part of the episode. I love Data interacting with Data. Data is my
Your ship.
I'm sorry.
So oh no, I was just gonna say the weird thing about this episode for me, and I didn't even realize it till last time we watched it together. So I'm a fan of the movie Casablanca. I think that's a fun movie.
Yeah.
This episode feels like a remake of Casablanca, except they replace Nazis with time travel hijinks. And it doesn't work nearly as well.
You were talking
Unfortunately
about
not.
that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Casablanca.
It's kind of a very
Oh.
similar story, although you also don't really have the guy saying, "Hey, take care of my woman for me." Although
Sure.
Which is kind of funny.
there is the guy sending the woman off to be with her husband because in that movie the husband's like this resistance fighter against the Nazis, and it makes more sense in that, even though it's a much older thing, and yes, it's dated, but it's somehow less dated than this. It's weird.
When
Humphrey
I'm
Bogart,
done,
man. Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, Humphrey Bogart. Fucking yeah.
And not to, but I'm not trying to say anything about Pat Stew or
No.
any of those guys, but Humphrey Bogart. Like,
I don't hate this. I would go C tier for this one,
yeah,
but
it's.
what do you
it's
guys
fine.
think?
I don't feel
I
like
like
it's
little time travel
I don't
hijinks.
feel
That's
like it-
that's why I'm not dropping it all the way to the
It
bottom.
doesn't.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't feel it quite deserves D, but I agree with you. C feels very appropriate.
Now that what do you think, Lindsay?
it's a memorable episode, but it's not really a great one. So the
Yeah.
C seems fair. Like, there's nothing. I was never angry while watching this. I was
Yeah.
just kind of like, there's not that much going on, and a lot of it again feels like the original series in an awkward way. But
Mhm.
yeah, C's fair.
I mean, a
C's
lot of it is just you waiting for the freaking time travel hijinks. To be honest, it's like let's do time travel hijinks. Oh, that's fun. Oh, we're back to the rest of the episode. God damn it. But yeah, and I will also say like, I feel like there was in season 1, you kind of feel it here. There was kind of more of a effort to make it feel a bit more cinematic. I felt. I definitely feel it like you got that a bit with the 3 datas scene. But yeah,
Yeah. They should have had more scenes with free datas.
they should have had better script writing in season 1 too.
And also more scenes with free
Yeah.
datas.
Well, true. Next up is Star Trek Enterprise. Not the first time we're going to be talking about the temporal Cold War, but this isn't even the first episode of the temporal Cold War, but it feels like good starting off point because the first one, you have a time traveler in it, but none of the characters really do time travel in it per se. But it's Shockwave. It's the season 1 finale of Enterprise that goes to season 2. This is an episode where I actually think the setup for this episode is actually really, really cool. So essentially Enterprise, it's the first year of their mission. They're like, yeah, we've been doing this for a year. It's awesome. We're further out in space than anybody's ever been. And now there's this colony. We're going to go visit this colony. They have very specific landing instructions because like they have a very volatile atmosphere. So we're going to follow them very closely. And, and essentially even you have, Reed who's setting up stuff. He's like, okay, so they've given us conservative estimates on how we can land here. I'm going to be a bit more conservative than them just to make sure we're completely safe and we land here and it's all peaceful. And it all goes to hell and they destroy the whole colony in just an instant. And it's like, what the fuck happened?
I thought it was a really good setup.
Yeah, it is. It's a cool. It's a dark and messed up setup, and you have a lot of the characters like. Essentially, the Enterprise gets recalled after that because it's assumed they fucked up. And you have a lot of even our main characters kind of going, we get why we're getting recalled. We wanted to do this, but fuck. Like, we can't go out there destroying colonies like this.
Archer comes across as more human than
yeah,
especially
in the first 2 seasons. Yeah. Where it's like, I kind of get where Archer's kind of like, yeah, maybe we should go back. This is not good. But yeah,
this actually creates a really great character opportunities because everyone's just like, wait, we fucked up. Like it's everyone just kind of just like having that. It's a very human thing to realize. Oh, I can't bullshit my way out of this. We probably made a mistake here. So I think that's a really, really cool beat to have, especially because Star Trek characters are always so hyper competent, and that's why I love them. I love that they're hyper competent, but like when they make mistakes, it's really cool. So the fact that this whole setup it seems to be coming from a mistake that they made. It's like you said, it's a really good way to do it. Shockwave is great. At least the first half. The second half we'll talk about.
I think I love the setup, and then even to a lesser degree the cliffhanger where. Essentially, like you get Crewman Daniels, who was the time traveler in the first temporal Cold War episode, and we will talk about the temporal Cold War because I have thoughts on that. And essentially he goes back in time and he's like, yeah, that accident at the colony wasn't supposed to happen. And he helps Archer find evidence to prove their case. And then all of a sudden, Archer's beamed to the future, and the future's completely devastated, and everything's destroyed. And as far as they can tell, it's because Daniels was told to bring him to the future, but he wasn't supposed to do that because now Archer never goes back to the past. And they have to fix everything. So episode 1, I think, is actually decently solid. Episode 2 just feels like, oh fuck, we kind of dug ourselves into a hole. Let's just figure out a way to unbury this. That's literally what it feels like. It's like we have Archer beaming in from the future. By the way, part of the temporal Cold War is that there's this group of aliens, or a subgroup in this aliens called the Suliban, who are part of this cabal, who are messing around with timelines and stuff. And they get their orders from Future Guy, who's this shadowy figure. I call him Future Guy because he has no other fucking name.
I know.
They never actually reveal who he is. He is literally just shadowy Future Guy.
A little bit of Enterprise together, and you were talking about, oh yeah, Future Guy, and I was watching Future Guy, and I was like, this guy is clearly important.
Yeah.
And you were like, he never got a name besides Future Guy because we never learned much of anything about him. And then I looked it up, and I was like, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
They dropped Future Guy?
Yeah.
How did you forget about this guy?
In a lot of ways, and we'll get more into it with a couple more episodes, but like I feel like this episode kind of sums up my thoughts on the temporal Cold War. Really cool setup, really cool ideas. Man, you're blotching the fucking execution. You're blotching the actual story, the actual explanations. Like it's so clear with the temporal Cold War. They went into it like, oh, this is a cool idea, but they didn't have any idea how to actually explain fucking anything. And it was kind of a frustrating thing that ran through Star Trek Enterprise. But there are peaks and valleys with it as well. Lindsay, Lindsay, thoughts?
Well, my main thing about the temporal Cold War is like they rely way too heavily on you won't understand. Like at some point, you have to let that crutch go, and you have to kind of start explaining some things. It's time travel. It's timey-wimey, silly pants. You don't need to get super specific about it, but you need to give us something. And as cool as the temporal Cold War is, I don't feel like it ever really gave us anything, unfortunately. It's fun. I like Shockwave. There's other times that I think it was pretty cool, and it gets you into the series. So I guess that's important. It makes you want to watch the series. It just lets you down. So
I mean, the concept is actually kind of cool because it's a way, because at the time Enterprise was airing, that was the only Star Trek show, and it was a way to allow Enterprise to be a prequel, but also kind of be a sequel to the other stuff. Yep. And that's a fun idea to play with, but it never felt well executed. I guess I'd go C on this one, but what do you guys think? Hear more votes.
C feels fair. We haven't gone into complete terribleness.
No.
We have much worse.
Like I said, there's a solid setup here. I'm pretty okay with part 1. In fact, part 1, if part 2 was as good as part 1, I might go. I'd probably go A on this, but it is definitely not.
No, C seems good. C definitely seems fair.
Oh well, by the way, this next one's crap.
Oh my goodness!
Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home. Fuck.
I believe I've only ever seen this movie once, but I think about it fondly.
Oh god,
this film. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, no, I kind of grew up on this movie. I grew up on a lot of Star Trek movies, but this one might be the one I watched the most. Simply because even though maybe it's not as good as Wrath of Khan, but it is more fun than Wrath of Khan for sure. I'm trying to think. This is the Star Trek movie I think that definitely leans the most into comedy, which I feel like the movies kind of drop the ball on a lot. I feel like they should do comedy more. Because Star Trek does comedy decently often.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just a fun movie. The Star Trek crew, there's a probe that comes to Earth. It's just wiping out everything, and it's trying to contact the species on Earth, and nobody knows what it is. And eventually, essentially, I believe it's Uhura that figures out it's supposed to be a humpback whale.
I think so. Yeah.
And so it's either Uhura or Spock, or maybe it's both of them together.
I'd like it if it was Uhura so that she was given something to do.
Yeah, like I said that, and it would be nice, but I was also thinking, man,
That
actually,
feels unlikely.
actually, it was probably
Uh.
Spock, but I'm sure Uhura was involved with it. At
Uhura did
least.
it in my heart.
Yes, but yeah, they're figuring out that it's a humpback whale, which had been extinct because it was hunted to extinction by whalers, which fortunately hasn't happened, but seemed like a possibility when this movie came out.
Yeah.
And I know lots of people might even at the time it felt like a silly thing to be like, oh, we're caring about the animals, and now it feels more timely than ever. Yes, care about the earth, care about the world around you. So not only is it like a goofy fun comedy, but it has a good message.
Yeah.
And it means well. And yes, it is doing the trope of just going back to the time period where it's set, where it's filmed. So like you just have these people outside, you don't even have to build sets. Stuff like Master of the Universe and Beastmaster got blasted for doing shit like this.
I do.
Mhm.
But like it actually feels important and works towards the theme and the message they're going for here. I really like this movie. I don't know if you picked up on that one at all. What do you guys think?
I do like it. On that note, I do like it when I'm watching Star Trek and I can tell that they're actually outside, especially if they
Yeah.
have like some of the alien characters with the super intense prosthetics and they're just like hiking through
Yeah.
like the woods. I think that that's really fun.
Mhm.
But yeah, I really like this movie. I believe when we first watched the movies for our movie ranking, there was so hot outside. And I believe this was one of the movies that we watched while we were like swimming in our own sweat, and it made me feel much better about it.
No, might have been one of the many times where the AC isn't working here. That gets fun. If the AC is ever not working here, it takes like at least a week to get fixed. It's
Oof, oh, that sucks.
But
This is such a good movie. It's hard to just like not just be having a smile the entire time. It's just Star Trek characters being silly. The premise is silly, but all that silliness is on top of like a legitimate like threat and like mystery.
Yeah.
What is this thing attacking Earth? What does it want? We can't even get near it, let alone begin to touch it. It's just that's a really cool setup, and this makes my heart really happy. I love that they're still on the Klingon bird of prey from the
like
previous movie.
I think that was so kind of clever.
Right.
Just kind of like they're like, listen, they could have just started this with them on another Enterprise. They could have just done that and just had some sort of exposition and explain that way. I'm sure it would work. I would have bought it, but like I love that they just say, hey, you know what? Let's pick this up immediately after the last one. Just like 3 picks up pretty soon after 2. This one picks up immediately after 3. They're on the Klingon bird of prey. And we're on a bird of prey, which means we have a cloaking device, which means we can go back in time and do hijinks. But we also have a cloaking device, so we don't have a ship hanging out so people can see us. It's a fun way to use that. And you have essentially literally just the skeleton crew, just your main cast members on there.
Remember when Chekhov asks to see where the nukes are?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A guy with a very strong Russian accent on the streets. Dennis, do you know where the nuclear whistles are? Do you know when and everybody just like
the 60s.
No, well, it's in the 80s,
It's
but
in the
yeah,
80s.
yeah.
Same thing.
Still Cold War, yeah.
If it's before 1992, it's basically 1968. Okay, like
yeah.
I wasn't alive
before
okay?
Ashleen was alive.
It's
she
all
doesn't
the
understand.
same.
But yeah, in case you can't tell, this is a pretty easy S tier for me. But where are you guys at? Pretty easy.
it's directed by Leonard Nimoy. It can't get much more Star Trek than that. Like it's S tier, yeah.
S tier. It's peak. It's peak.
Right?
I don't even know what to say.
It is pretty peak. I mean, for something that just relies on the cliche of we're gonna go back to the time we're filming, it works so well. And it uses that pretty it's so weird. Like it's a movie with very limited stuff going on, but like it uses it to maximum advantage. And yeah, it's cool.
Well, think about it like this. So this movie uses the fact that it's set in like the 1970s or whatever,
80s,
80s, sorry, 80s, to its advantage, because like that's what the story's about. We need to get whales. When were there whales in the 80s? So let's go back to the 80s. But then look at something that we're going to be talking about in a little bit here, Picard season 2, and like we're going to go back to 2020. because it's cheaper, and then we're not going to use the fact that it's 2020 at all. There's not going to be any weird
Yeah.
diseases. There's not going to be any of the sanctuary zones that we saw in Deep Space Nine. It's just going to be 2020 because it's cheaper. Like there's using where your setting is, and then there's not using the setting. This
Yeah.
really uses the setting.
Yeah.
I've talked to Dad before about how I kind of wish that they went with the 2020 that was depicted in Deep Space Nine, because I feel like
Yeah.
it would have been more interesting. But that would have
Right.
cost more money to give people like spiffy outfits or whatever.
We'll get into it because Timescape
sorry.
is next. But I definitely have season 2. We're coming up on season 2 Picard. I'll have things to say. Oh, so many things to say. But yes, Timescape. This is definitely a wibbly wobbly, timey wimey one. They aren't really traveling back in time. But like they're like essentially we get a runabout with Troy, Geordi, Data, and Picard on it.
Mhm.
They're discussing this conference they're coming from. And by the way, this is the only time in Star Trek history where we actually get to see the back of a runabout. And it's like, wow, that thing's got a decent little back area there. But all the time,
wait.
Deep Space Nine's in a runabout. And yeah,
That's so true. Whoa!
Yeah.
How did I not realize that?
and now that was actually built because they wanted to run about because they didn't want it to just be a shuttlecraft because they're on a decent length voyage.
Right.
But like Deep Space Nine uses the front set for the runabout like all the time. So they couldn't have them in the front set all that often. So they
Yeah.
built a back set for the runabout for this episode. So, but yeah, it still works because now we know what the back of the runabout looks like.
I love
I
it.
just
That's
always
great.
assume that whenever they walk back there, they just go into the void, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like an empty, just like nothingness around them.
Yeah. But they reach these patches where like essentially I want to say Troy, they're having this conversation, all of a sudden everybody freezes except Troy, just mid-sentence. And Troy's like, the fuck is going on? And then they all start talking like nothing's happening and nobody notices it but her. And she's like, what the hell? And at first they all think something's wrong with her. And then suddenly she freezes and everybody else is like, oh, the fuck.
That's not good.
Yeah. And yeah, so they're reaching this space where like time travels differently in different areas of space. They're like, what happened here? And they come across the Enterprise and this Romulan ship that appear to be fighting, but like not all the evidence lines up with them fighting. And so essentially you have this mystery of what's going on. Why are these pockets of time? They have to develop these special like force field bands to go onto the ships and not be affected by time. And it does result in Picard. Well, one thing I do appreciate is how at first we have Troy kind of falling faint when they put the field over her. And they're like, yeah, there might be side effects of that. It might mess with your equilibrium. So you think something's going to happen to Troy over there. No, something happens to Picard over there. He starts going insane and drawing faces in the fucking warp core and laughing his ass off. And it's like, interesting. But yeah, this is kind of a cool little mystery episode and I love how they play around with the pockets of time and stuff like that. This is fun. What do you guys think?
I really like it.
Mhm.
I still remember the one scene that I always think about, and when I think about, I always think about it when I think about it,
Mhm.
is, you know, the scene where Picard is like, let me get in on one of those grapes, you know, and then his hand just like
Yeah. His hand
every
is like
time
ages super
every time
fast.
I
Yeah.
see that,
Like,
I
on
feel
the
like it
spot,
happened to
like-
me.
Yeah.
Like I see that and I start going,
Yeah.
just like Picard.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, it's like
Like,
he looks over at the fruit bowl, and the fruit bowl, which was fine just a few moments ago, is now all moldy and aged. And he reaches in to check it out, and his hand just suddenly ages super fast. Like
Yeah.
it's like whoa. And like,
Oh.
yeah, there's some cool, like it's an interesting premise, and they really do have some fun with it in this episode because like there's a question: are the Romulans and the Enterprise, are they fighting each other? Are they helping each other? And then and then we also encounter some Romulans that appear not to be locked in time like everyone else. There's a whole bunch of mystery in this one.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
It's
I wouldn't want to ruin too much of the mystery, but I do really enjoy. They have a lot of fun with. Oh, here's the thing: you think it's X, but then later in the episode, it was Y. They have a lot of fun with that, and it's. I don't know. I like a good mystery. This is a decent mystery. It's a fun one.
Yeah, it's a fun little time hijinks mystery.
And I do feel like it's decently well disguised too,
Yes.
for reasons that I shall not state.
I mean, one of the things I do, this is just a little touch, but I do appreciate like the beginning of this episode just being Data, Geordi, Picard, and Troy shooting the
Yeah.
shit and having
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Picard's actually
Oh,
telling
right.
jokes, and it's actually
Right?
kind of fun. Kind of
Aren't
fun.
they, like,
Right?
complaining about like this one
Yeah.
dude, his like it was like a seminar he was doing.
Yeah,
You know?
he did an incredibly boring seminar, and then
Yeah.
Troy even talks about how one of the guys is like, "I've been studying interspecies mating. Would you like to do a study with me?" It's like, whoa, no, fuck off, no.
I like Data's like so clueless.
Oh,
as
yeah,
to
and-
why she thinks that that's weird. you
Yeah,
know?
and Data's like, "Oh, so did you engage in that?" And she's like, "No." I lean towards A on this one. Where are you guys at?
I'd put this in A.
Mhm.
Hey, it's good. Yeah, there's a bit of a surprise twist at the end too. I mean, I guess it's not really a big surprise, but anytime Romulans and Federation aren't hating each other and kind of working together,
Yeah.
I'm into it. You know, it's a
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
change of pace.
and especially in TNG, where the Romulans were definitely the main antagonists we dealt with
Yeah.
a lot.
Mhm.
It's nice to have an episode where they aren't like blood. I guess spoiler, where they aren't like the enemies. Okay, here we go.
Okay. It's
Star Trek Picard season 2. I just clumped it all together into one. We aren't going to do individual episodes because it's all one story.
It's time to talk trash.
Oh my fucking god. Okay, well let's. So now, we were talking
Professional
about
face.
earlier. Something changed in the past, and everything turns fascist. That's the setup for this. So they go back to 2024, which I believe this came out in 2023, so it was a year later, essentially the same time, to try to change what happened. And it's Q that set up all this stuff in motion. And real quick, I want to get this out of the way. A storyline about Q dying, but wanting to teach Picard a lesson and give him this nice, like, cathartic moment with his family and help him recover from family trauma before he dies. I think that's a touching and really nice idea for a story.
Yeah.
That's kind of where my praise for the season ends. I think it's a cool idea. And then there's actually hints of cool ideas throughout this season, but fuck, this sucks.
One of those things where when you watch it, you start to feel like you're like slowly losing your mind.
Yes.
It's
So like I wanted to dive into it immediately, but you talked about how like, they go back to 2024, but they don't really use the setting. There are moments where I thought they were going to use the setting. Remember when fucking Rios is captured by fucking ice?
Yes, very true.
And
Yeah.
they just drop it.
Mhm.
He's
Also very
captured,
true.
He gets out, and then they do fucking nothing with it.
Yep.
The fuck were they doing?
I forgot about that.
Yes.
That was like a wild
Mm.
thing to just have happen and do
Yes.
nothing with.
And they don't do anything with it. It's like,
It's mind-boggling. Like the moment that for me that really hits is like nobody knows what the hell they're doing, and this is such a small moment, but it's when very early in the season, 7 of 9 gets all her Borg implants taken out of her because of the time reset stuff. She no longer was a Borg ever. But then
Mhm.
later in the season, she gets like shot or something like that, and she needs to become a Borg again in order to survive. And her Borg implants are in the exact same place.
yes.
There's no new ones. None of them are moved. They're all the exact same. Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. I hate this
Well,
season so much. It's so bad.
You know what? I feel like the character that best represents Star Trek Picard is fucking Eleanor. Here's a
Yep.
character that seems kind of interesting and with promise, and we're just going to do jack fucking all with him. Listen, man, he barely gets introduced in season 1, but it's like, okay, let's see what they do with him. And then like early in this season, he's just fucking dead. And then he's like a computer program made by Raffi, I want to say, or something like that.
Oh,
and then-
Rio says all those holograms on his ship, so they make
Yeah.
a hologram based on
Eleanor.
like what?
And then they bring him back to life only to completely drop him in season 3. And it's like, What
That's
are
the
we
thing that really
doing,
gets me
man?
about season 2. Actually, that's the moment that really drives me insane. I take the thing
Yeah.
I said back a second ago. Season 2 of Picard ends with Elnor being resurrected and Q dying. Season 3 of Picard sees Elnor never resurrected. He's still dead, and Q is alive again.
Yeah.
Shout out to Picard and Q's
Ah.
epic romance, by the way.
Seriously.
I know we're summing up just a whole season, but like this is so bad.
It really
And
is.
like there's lots of ideas here. Picard's dealing with family trauma that's haunted him his whole life. Q's trying to help him through that. I like this idea, but fuck all this execution. Oh my god.
and then Brent Spiner runs.
Yeah, and then Brent
Picard.
Spiner, who I'm not gonna lie, at this point in the franchise, like you know what, it was kind of
He's played every Soong.
so yeah,
Yes.
it was like, you know, we saw like the Soong, you know, that made Data, and it's played by Brent Spiner. It's like, okay, I can kind of see that he made a robot after himself. Then Enterprise introduces a Soong in the 22nd century. And it's played by Brent Spiner again, of course. And it's like, okay, that's a little quirky, but okay. You know, and you know, that trilogy of episodes, it was entertaining enough. It's not one of their best, but it's entertaining enough. But then, like in Picard, we end up going back in time and encountering multiple Soongs, and they all just look like fucking Data. And it gets
No,
ridiculous. It's
no.
like there's no genetic diversity in this family line at all.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Fuck.
I watch it, and I'm like, I don't even like. It's so it's mind boggling in a way. They don't even try
Yeah.
to make him look different, you know,
Mhm.
like at all. It's just like the same dude in like a different sweater every
And it's
time.
like I might have forgiven it if it was a better season, but it is not a better season,
No.
so I'm not forgiving it. I'm not.
If we were having fun, I would say sure, cast Brent Spiner as everyone. Beautiful, glorious.
I would watch an entire season of Star Trek where Brett Spiner is like as different Data as like as the entire crew of a ship
I
or
would be
something like
down,
that.
yeah.
Like,
I think it's safe to say I'm calling this our first D.
D.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness.
I'm down to create a new category. Picard season 2 bad.
Yeah.
Like,
There's D, and then there's Picard season 2. And it has officially done worse than the season 1 TNG episode. That I want you to wear that shame with you, Picard. I want you to wear that. Okay, next up we have our first entry in Deep Space Nine. Although we got 2 Deep Space Nines in a row here. But our first
yeah.
one is one of the fun O'Brien Must Suffer episodes. Visionary. This is one where O'Brien ends up accidentally flashing to the future for a few moments. And at first, it's just like he flashes to the future and he sees himself. And then, like, I want to say 2 or 3 times in a row, he flashes to the future and just sees himself die, which is just like, oh my fucking God. But you know, he essentially, I think the first time he sees himself die, and the second time I think he sees himself die again, and the third time the whole station gets blown up.
This episode is so funny to
It's
me.
so insane,
Because
it's so
they-
manic, but it
because
works. It
They
works.
show that he sees himself dying while he's like doing something at
Yeah.
work. And so the obvious thing to do here is to give him time off while you investigate. But they can't do that, okay? He has to clock in.
No, yeah, that was the funny thing. So like in Time's Arrow, like Data's like, okay, we found my head on this planet, and Picard's like, okay, we're not bringing you down to that planet. Data's like, well, I need to investigate down there, and Picard's like, yeah, we're not fucking doing that. And in Deep Space Nine, they're like, yeah, O'Brien, we would give you time off, and we know you're probably gonna die, but you're the only one that fixed this shit here. Like, it's really bad. We need better people here. Seriously, our engineering crews are garbage except for you.
Cisco's just like, what am I supposed to do? Give
Yeah.
him time off
Yeah.
when he might die?
Paid time? The fuck are we on?
To be fair, do they get paid on Deep Space Nine?
No, they
Because
don't. No,
they
they don't.
appear to have money for things at times, but
It won't surprise me if they get some sort of resources or something like that just to deal with alien cultures. But no, they do not need money for anything from Earth. I don't know. I do enjoy this though. This is a fun
Yeah,
episode.
it's a really fun episode.
Yeah,
Well, it's Deep Space Nine. Like
Yeah.
Deep Space
it's already
Nine.
like slightly like
I mean,
elevated.
yeah, Deep Space
Nine
Nine.
is so goated.
Yeah, it has like some of the best characters. And O'Brien is easily my favorite engineering character. Just because he's kind of just the everyman, and Deep Space Nine is like, oh, he's the everyman. Let's torture him. And this isn't even as bad as the torture gets, man. It gets dark in some episodes.
Sometimes they literally torture him.
Yes, a couple of times actually. Our A rank for me? I think I want to put this in A.
Yeah,
What do you guys feel?
Put it in A. It's not quite at the level that I would put it in S, but it's really good.
What do you think, Lindsay?
Really fun episode.
I mean, it's like we're just talking about Data talking to himself in the Star Trek episode, and this is O'Brien talking to O'Brien. It can't be lower than an A. Like it's
yeah.
I'm
Well,
perfectly
you know,
fine
and
with
also it's more interesting because he does it more here than Data does it in the other episode. And now we get another Deep Space Nine one. Another one where the crew goes back to 2024, except this
takes
is
place last year.
Except this is in the 90s, so there was a fictionalized 2024 that isn't 100% accurate, but
It's
is
closer
more
than I would like it to
it's
be.
more accurate than I would like it to be. Yeah, essentially, they go back to 2024, and it's a time period where people who essentially don't have jobs and resources are put in sanctuary districts. And they say it's to help them get a job, but in reality, it's this place so the rich people can forget about them and just isolate these people off. And Deep Space Nine just dives right into these social issues. And as time has gone by, like we don't have sanctuary districts, but it does feel more and more as the rich get more and more resources, they just sector off everybody else, and you're either working or you're homeless, and they like kind of don't care. The only thing they care about is if you're homeless, they don't want you to be an eyesore. That's about it. And I love how Deep Space Nine is not afraid to go into social political issues like that.
Yes.
Probably, I feel like Deep Space Nine probably did that the most, with maybe the exception of the original series. But I feel like the messages in Deep Space Nine have aged so much better than even the original series. Although the original series has done all right overall. This is great. I would say like my biggest complaint might be it's a little exposition heavy, but kind of needs to be. And there's definitely some silly stuff here.
I would say that there's even more
thoughts?
exposition episodes later that make this seem very harmless in comparison by how it handles the exposition. No, I think this is great. I love Dax's little side story where the hot, sexy lady gets swept up into the rich society while the guys are left down. No, I'm not actually. I'm not trying to say that's the point or anything, but
the point is to show both sides. Yeah,
that's true. And no, it's just a very effective episode. I love the reveal at the end. Spoilers: that Cisco is this great like civil rights leader.
Yeah.
Gabriel Bell was that the name? Did I get that right? And I love how they reference that in an episode that we're going to be talking about in a little bit. That's super cute.
I love that callback. So much.
Well, it makes sense because it's the two when they do the time travel, so it makes sense to do that callback in the other time travel when they do.
All humans look the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure, buddy.
They look exactly like Cisco. Are you sure about that? Are you? But yeah, no, this is a good one. This is a classic Deep Space Nine one. I think I want to go S tier. What do you guys think?
S is
I put this in S.
Okay.
Feels that was very justified.
Especially because it just gets more and more prevalent. Like there was a couple of articles going around on the online a few years ago about how well this episode is aged. It's a cultural touch point. It's important.
And the fact that it has aged so well is not good for our society. It shouldn't have aged this well.
We haven't put anything in B yet. When are we going to find true mid?
Yeah, true mid. We'll get into it because there's definitely some stuff I'm looking here where it's like I don't really hate it, but well, the next one is Tomorrow Is Yesterday. This is kind of the first big time travel story in possibly Star Trek history. This is season 1 TOS. They go back to 1966, so they're just going back to the time period they're filming in. And they encounter this Air Force pilot who ends up getting beamed aboard the Enterprise, and kind of just hijinks ensue. trying to think of a better way to really describe this episode. It's kind of just hijinks. What you guys have a better way to describe this?
Jinx and Sue. This is the. Wait, isn't this the one with the where the computer gets? They give the computer like a female.
Yes,
personality
yes.
or
The computer gets a little sassy. Yes, those are some hijinks, Ashley.
You will not talk to me that way, computer.
Honestly, that alone kind of saves this episode because it despite being like the first time travel one, I feel like this one's kind of forgettable. Like it's not bad.
Yeah, it's well, there's an original series one we'll get to later that I actually think is worse, but
Oh, okay.
this is entertaining enough. It's not like it does drag a little bit and get a little boring, although not as bad as when we get to
Fun.
another one. But
Fun fact about this episode: this is the first Star Trek episode ever released that was written exclusively by a woman.
Oh,
There
Ooh.
have been you wouldn't suspect it with all the jokes about how the computer has like a female personality or whatever, but that it's the first one.
yeah. Well, I mean, it is kind of the interesting thing about the original series because, yeah, a lot of there's a sexist vibe to the original series. It's kind of hard to ignore, but at the same time, like you also have to recognize that, like that was also kind of the culture at the time. It it wasn't seen as sexist back then because Star Trek, even though it was still largely dominated by men in production, had more women than most productions did,
And it was
doing big
also-
jobs. Yeah,
And it was also really well enjoyed by women in the time
Yes,
period when it
yes.
was released. And so like which is interesting because it is like really misogynistic at times.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it's one of those things when I watch the original series, I kind of have to forgive it because it's like, even though it is misogynistic a lot, it means well and it has its heart in the right place,
It's just one of those things where you just kind of have to take it in the context of the time it was released in. It's unfortunate that things were like that, but like like what are you gonna do? Put the writers in like an isolated room so that they can't be affected by misogyny? You know?
And real quick, this is not the Terry Gar one. We will get to the Terry Gar one. It's a bit later. But we were just talking about nothing's in B. This feels kind of like a B to me.
Kind of. I was about to say, did we predict this? Did we all know this? Because I definitely didn't realize.
Yeah.
This is true mid.
Yeah, it's entertaining. I don't think it's bad. It's a little bit of a slog. Maybe if it cut like 10 minutes, it'd be more entertaining.
thing
But
is,
yeah.
The thing about the computer joke is that I unironically think it's really funny. I just wish that they weren't misogynistic about it. You know?
Yeah. Goddamn woman computer. Goddamn.
They gave it a female personality. Like
Oh god, I'm just picturing a Ferengi saying that. A female.
All right. So that brings us right back to TNG.
Woo.
We got a couple more TNGs, but we've actually gone through most of the TNGs already. But we're going to the final TNG episode, All Good Things, where Picard is forced to time travel between the past, the future, and the present. Hugh is forcing him to do this to kind of help him prevent and in some ways kind of cause destruction of humanity. It gets kind of wonky and wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. I think as a story, if this were kind of a standalone episode, it's kind of wonky and weird. As a series finale, I think it's kind of brilliant. So it's kind of like a mixed feeling for me on like how I feel overall about this. I think it works amazing as a series finale, but if you think about it as a standalone thing, it's really fucking weird.
I'm a fan of this one. I love seeing all the different timelines, all the different versions of Picard and everything. I love seeing Geordi with eyes again. I love seeing Picard as a farmer for a little bit. Like it all makes sense. That is kind of the direction that their lives would go. So I think so much of this does really work. And it's kind of a unique idea. Has there ever been another, at the time anyway, it's probably been since, but at the time, was there another season finale that was quite this epic? Because this was pretty big for the 80s for a TV show.
I don't recall. But well, I mean, that's one of the things. So like TNG was one of those super standalone series where most of the episodes, like it's not it's not as bad as Voyager, which is weird.
Oh my god.
But like, yeah, for the most part, you watch an episode and then it's resolved at the end, and the next episode's completely new. Same characters, completely new situation. And what this does, why I think it works really well as a series finale, is that it makes all of that feel like one story. Because this is them going to the past and the future and just exploring all of it. I really like that aspect of this. And it even there's so many callbacks to Encounter for Farpoint here, which is not my favorite episode of Star Trek by a decent margin. But it works here. It works because it's like the trial of humanity never ended, and now we're gonna resolve this trial right now. And I like that callback.
Also, that Q look is so iconic. That judge outfit, like,
get the fuck out. Counter at Farpoint, the best episode. No, just no.
I'm trolling you because you always one up me somehow.
But yeah, no, I like this quite a bit. Oh, and listen, it's just the fan in me, but I do love, and when they're in the past, one of the things was Jonathan Frakes. They didn't want him to shave his beard, and he would have had to do that if they filmed in the past. So what they did was they had everything take place before they pick him up, because if you remember Encounter at Farpoint, there's the crew that's on the ship. They pick up Jonathan Frakes later, and they pick up William Riker, and it's also Wesley, Dr. Crusher, and Geordi, and they pick them up later. So they don't have those characters in the past because they don't want Frakes to shave his beard. But that means they need to do engineering stuff, and they don't have an engineering character there. And they thought, hey, wasn't Colm Meaney just an extra on the battle bridge during the first episode? So they retcon it back, and they say, okay, that Colm Meaney that was there, he was definitely O'Brien. And Picard's going to put him in charge of engineering because he needs to do engineering stuff. And I was just like, I'm game. And even O'Brien's like, I'm not qualified to do this. And Picard's like, oh, yes you are. Yes, you fucking are. You are. Trust me, you are. You got this, dude. I do.
It's funny how he was literally an extra in Encounter at Farpoint. I wonder what it was that got him ascended up. Was he just always in the transporter room, or that'd be an interesting story to hear?
I want. So he was an extra in Encounter at Farpoint. He has a couple of lines, and then he's an extra like security officer in like 2 other season 1 episodes, but I don't even think he has any lines in those.
Okay.
And then in season 2, he became transport chief. Then midway through, they give him a name and actually give him a little storyline where he cures an entire pandemic with the transporter. And fun fact, it's a Dr. Pulaski episode too, but O'Brien just happens to be there, and he's like, "Oh, I can fix this with the transporter," and he does.
That's amazing.
Okay,
O'Brien's just like that.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
It's just like
that's his natural state.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Encounter at Farpoint and seeing O'Brien is so odd as an unnamed character.
Yeah,
because I'm watching that. I was like, he doesn't even know that he's chief engineer of DS9, Miles O'Brien. He doesn't even know what his name is because he doesn't have one yet.
So I feel like if I were ranking this as a series finale, I'd probably put it in S tier because I think it's a really good series finale. If I'm ranking it as just kind of a standalone, it's probably more A here. So I'm not 100% sure where I want to put this.
Cool.
Where do you guys think?
I'd go with A.
High A, low S, somewhere in there. If we rearrange later, we can get more specific with it.
Okay.
But, it's like an A plus S minus.
Okay. We'll drop an A for now, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, next up, we're back to another movie. We got a couple movies left to go over. This one, Star Trek First Contact. The Enterprise goes back in time to follow the Borg as they attempt to prevent first contact and assimilate the human race before they even get to go out to space. This is kind of a classic. I'm trying to think. There's not much to say about Star Trek First Contact as much as I think it's a classic. It's definitely, I don't think this is really a debatable, the best of the TNG movies, which were wildly underwhelming for the most part.
It introduced the Borg Queen, right? Wasn't this the first time we saw her?
Yes, this is the introduction of the Borg Queen.
And it's awesome.
And it was kind of like they even talk about how like the idea of the Borg Queen is kind of contradictory to the Borg, but like also when they did that, they're like, yeah, but we want to give like the Borg Queen of the Borg a voice and a character. And this was also when it was being put together, they're like, this is also going to be the outro for the Borg. We're going to give them this big movie, and then we'll be done.
I love when you can like see
Mm.
like her spine and stuff, and they like lower her like
Oh,
into
it's
the
so
body,
creepy
and it's
looking.
so creepy. And
Oh,
I love
oh.
it. It's perfect. It's perfect.
And there's
good.
even this like seduction angle with the Borg Queen and Data that's just kind
Yep.
of, it's so creepy. It's like, ooh. I'm a pretty big fan of this one.
Yeah.
I'm leaning S on this one. Where are you guys
I,
at?
I think the S would work just because it gets referenced so much in future Trek. So like
Yeah.
it is like an important time moment in time travel stories and in the lore and stuff. And what's his name from Babe as Zephyr Cochrane is
Yes.
so good. This is Picard's Moby Dick story where he's absolutely
Yes.
obsessed and I'm gonna kill them all.
This is Picard doing the con thing, which I love that aspect, because you can't have Kirk do the con thing, because as much as William Shatner is capable of doing a good performance, he can't quite do that.
Right.
Patrick Stewart can do that, and I love that. And then fun fact, Zephyr Cochrane was originally supposed to be played by Tom Hanks, who's a big Star Trek fan, but like his shooting schedule was too busy, and they got James Cromwell, who is, he's popped up in Star Trek fairly often, and he's always fun to see, and he was great in this. So
I'm sorry, I just had like an evil flashback, and now I need to bring it up. Do you guys remember when in Picard, Picard disguised himself as a French person?
Oh yeah,
yes. That episode would have been more fun if it wasn't also like layered with this revenge story of stuff. That episode is so weird. Like, it doesn't know where not wants to be a fun, goofy hijinks episode or a fucking dark revenge story. It's fucking Picard, man. Oh my god.
He's getting together his disguise, and he puts on this fake French accent. I'm like, dude, you are French in real life.
I still act like a Frenchman, and it's like, aren't you supposed to be French?
You do have to respect how he went like full cliche about it. He's just like, oh, I'm going frog, and no one's gonna ever be froggier than me. And also, I love that Tom Hanks story. Like, the last Caesarian in the chat's like, Cromwell's awesome. And I 100% agree. I would never recast Cromwell, but I kind of want to see the version of this from another timeline where they went with Tom Hanks. That would be interesting.
Where Tom Hanks was available and they shot it. I am kind of interested to see what Hanks' portrayal of the character would be like.
Right. But absolutely no disrespect to James Cromwell.
James Cromwell's always great. Yeah. That brings us to Trials and Tribulations, Tribble episode, Deep Space Nine Tribble episode. Literally, I believe this was for the 30th anniversary. So they Trouble with Tribbles, one of the most famous TOS episodes ever. And Deep Space Nine decided, let's put our crew, put them back in time, and have them deal with the Tribbles on the original series. And they rebuilt a lot of the old sets. They had put the DS9 crew in the old uniforms, and they fixed a lot of the old footage. And it doesn't look perfect, but looks really good, even by today's standards. And they have them interact with like the old crew and stuff like that. This is what's so weird is how often this uses footage from the Trouble of Tribbles, and that is a really fun episode. But yeah, at the end of the day, I actually prefer this to the Trouble of Tribbles overall. I think this is a funner episode. I love, and this is really the best way to deal with the Klingon makeup change in this episode, where you have the old school Klingons in this bar, and you have the DS9 crew members going, "There's supposed to be Klingons here. Where are the Klingons?" The bartender's like, "Well, there's Klingons over there, and there's Klingons over there." And the DS9 crew's just like, they look at Worf. Those are Klingons? What the fuck happened?
She's like, I think I'm going to take away your drinks. I think
you guys are a little too drunk. And they're just like, those aren't what Klingons look like. What the hell, Worf? And we don't talk about. And it's like, that's how you handle the makeup change. That's how you handle that.
This episode is so peak.
Yeah.
It's so peak. I don't even know how to explain how peak it is.
It is so much fun, and to take
It's
something
so
that's already
funny.
so much fun, like the Trouble of Tribbles, and just incorporate your new characters into it, but also like it just include old footage and make it somehow better. In my opinion, I think this is brilliant.
This episode is so
This
What are your
episode's
thoughts,
magic.
Lindsay?
This episode's magic to me. Like
Yeah.
I know how they did it. Like they
Mhm.
you just green screening in, and you're just using the empty space in the old
Mhm.
episodes. But it's still just magic, man. Cisco
Mhm.
meets Kirk and shakes his hand. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, you don't see both their
Fuck-
faces on the screen, but it's still him and wow.
I mean, you get a scene with fucking Kirk and Spock and Jadzia in the background, fucking oogling Spock, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, that's such a great moment where you think that she's like has a thing for Kirk, but no, she's into Spock because yeah, that's how she rolls. That's
Yeah.
that's a great little moment.
Why would I be into Kirk? Spock's right there. The fuck?
Are you blind?
Yeah. You have no taste in men if you think Kirk. What the fuck? Yeah, this is an S tier for me. I think this is a classic.
100%.
And I will say this is also something where every time I watch Trouble of Tribbles, I have to be like, okay, we gotta watch Trials and Tribulations.
I'm
now.
always like
You gotta watch Trials and
envisioning
Tribulations.
Jadzia throwing the
Yeah,
throwing the tribbles.
throwing
at
the
Kirk.
tribbles at Kirk. Yeah,
Oh.
that was great how they edited that together. How
Yeah.
they're just throwing the tribbles out and you just see one Kirk in the back of the head.
So this is a personal favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a classic. Now
There's
we're
also
returning-
funny story as a kid. I saw this episode before I saw the Trouble with Tribbles, and so when I was watching Trouble with Tribbles, I'm like, oh, it's a Tribble episode. But I'm like, wait, this is different. No, Mom, this isn't it. No, Mom, put on the real Tribble episode because I thought it was anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was about ready to say we're returning to Voyager, but
Yeah.
I don't think we've actually covered a Voyager episode yet. So
Oh, we
so
haven't.
we're introducing Voyager here.
Okay.
I feel like Voyager has been on here before spiritually.
Yes, we've probably mentioned it before, but yeah. So this is the first Voyager episode we're going into. This is Timeless. This is the episode where essentially the teaser is you have Harry Kim and Chakotay and woman we don't know the name of yet going to this ice planet and finding Voyager like frozen in this ice. And essentially they go there and they find the rest of the crew is just all dead there.
Yep.
And they're working on a plan to essentially change what happened in history and reverse what happened so that they don't die. And it's actually kind of shockingly, this is a Harry Kim episode because
Yeah.
he blames himself. He messed up and Voyager died and he blames himself forever. This is supposed to be like 25 years later and he's just like, I fucked up. It's all on me. They were depending on me and I'm going to go back in time and change it. Well, and he's not going back in time. He's sending a signal through Seven's Borg implants because the Borg implants can do that because they're useful like that.
Because they can.
Because Borg, whenever you need something to write into your script, Borg implants in Voyager. But he's able to send a message back to Seven in the past and try to fix what happened because they're doing this slipstream thing. Real quick before we get into it, I do want to talk about the slipstream thing because they build this slipstream thing for the ship, and they're like, "This is going to take us to the Alpha Quadrant really fast, super warp drive, essentially."
Support.
But then Tom Paris is like, "Oh, I think this is an issue." So they do simulations, and all the simulations are failing. And in my head, I'm like, "Wait, you built this, you installed it, and it didn't occur to you to run simulations on this before you installed it? Like, why is it
Are
just
they
now you're running
stupid?
simulations? That's step one. That's before you put resources into actually building the fucker." That always drove me nuts.
Are they stupid?
But overall, I think this is a decent episode. But what do you guys think?
I think it's okay. I have to say once again that it's kind of bizarre how much Harry Kim does for the crew of Voyager, and he never gets like nothing comes back to him ever. It seems like.
Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, Endgame revisits this possibility, but we'll get more into that when it gets in there. But I will say, I think Timeless makes more sense as to why they're resetting time to fix this as opposed to Endgame, but we'll get into it when we get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
But yeah, like the destruction of Voyager and Harry blaming himself, I get that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
yes, there's a risk to the timeline of what he's doing because he's changing a lot of history. But in theory, a lot of that history probably won't be changed massively, and it's a risk he's willing to take, and I get it.
Oh,
No.
can I shout out a moment in this that I thought was cool?
Mm-hmm. Oh, go
When
ahead.
When Geordi is talking to Chakotay,
Mhm.
I really liked that conversation
Yeah.
because he's like, hey, like, listen, I have to go after you, but like, I get why you're doing what you're doing,
Mhm.
and like, good luck.
Yeah, he's like, I get why you're doing what you're doing. If systems were reversed, I might be doing it, but they're not reversed, and I can't let you do it. I like Geordi in this. Also, shout out, this episode's directed by LeVar Burton as well.
He has a great cameo in it too.
He is a solid director. He's
Yeah.
directed some of the best episodes of Enterprise as well, which I think he probably directed the most of. But yeah, this is a decent episode. I don't know. I don't know if it's a B, but it doesn't quite feel like an A. Maybe a low A. What do you guys think?
I think B's good because this is a great episode.
Okay.
It's a great
B?
Chakotay
Okay.
strong episode, which is not a very common thing. But
Yeah.
this episode has an issue that I noticed in other Voyager things that we're going to talk about that we've already mentioned. A lot of exposition. Like
True.
they could have shown us some of their on the run for the past 15, 20 years, but instead they're just talking about it.
Yeah,
Which I
yeah.
understand, but it's cheaper. It's definitely cheaper. Like it saved them
Sure,
money for the
sure.
production. But it just would have made it a lot stronger episode to like show them stealing like that Borg thing that they found, or
Yeah, true.
just anything. But it's solid enough. It's passable. There's nothing wrong
That's
with
such
it.
a random thing. Like Parv to get the Borg implant to communicate in time. I assume they do a technobabble thing, but no, they had to steal something from like Starfleet headquarters to get out, and it's like, well, that sounds like a cool story on its own. Why are we just like dropping this in here?
Yeah, make it a two-parter. Have the first part be the heist, and the second part be them trying to do the thing. Like,
yeah. That could work, honestly.
Right?
On the subject of it being a more Chakotay strong episode, I felt kind of odd when I was talking about that scene earlier, and I realized that the scene that I really liked in the show had Chakotay as one of the main people in it.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, Chakotay and Geordi.
Yeah.
It is also cool getting a brief glimpse of Geordi as a captain as well.
Right.
Seems pretty solid in it. Yeah.
Seems pretty.
What was the name of his ship? The Challenger? Was that named after the shuttle that blew up? That's kind of cute.
I imagine, yeah.
Right?
I mean, also linking back to it, I do believe Star Trek 4 was dedicated to the Challenger crew because that was soon after that.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So I think we lined up on B on Timeless, correct?
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with it, but not phenomenal.
True. I think I might like it a bit more than anybody else on here, but it's not perfect. And that brings us to Enterprise again. And I can't say it again because we have talked about Enterprise. Although this isn't really temporal Cold War. We're in Carpenter Street, which I know was made as a love letter to John Carpenter, which is why it's named Carpenter Street and why there's lots of Carpenter names used in this. Did you get a chance to watch this one earlier?
I did watch this one earlier.
It is fine.
It's okay.
Yeah,
honestly, I couldn't even really tell you that. I watched it earlier today, and honestly, I couldn't really tell you that much about it if you asked me.
So,
guy do stuff.
Yeah.
For Xindi.
Yeah, so it's in the middle of the Xindi storyline, and Xindis are in the past, and they are trying to destroy humanity before they're a threat to Xindi because the Xindi think humanity is going to kill them as part of the season 3 storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And so Archer and Daniels, who's the time traveling crewman, comes to Archer and says, you can bring one other person. You need to go back in time to stop the Xindi. He brings to Paul, who doesn't believe in time travel. And it is kind of obnoxious how Archer's like, time travel exists. And it happens a couple times throughout the series where he's like, time travel exists. And he's desperately trying to convince T'Pol of it. And she's like, yeah, it's science director. He says it doesn't. He's like, but it does. And there's a lot of that in this episode. They go back to 2004, which is when this episode was filmed. Um, listen, I think the idea of doing a John Carpenter-esque episode sounds fun.
Yeah.
But I think it's more than just involving the names. You have to involve like some of the themes or just like the ideas that John Carpenter might explore, or maybe just some of the genres he would explore. This is just kind of like if they went like horror with this and like turned it into like this pretty dark story, that could be a lot cooler. But like it's not. It just kind of feels like they go back in time and stop the Zindi, and that's it. The John Carpenter references feel super surface level.
No, I actually I was like
Yeah.
I didn't. It ended so abruptly. I was like confused.
Mm-hmm. Lindsay,
I-
you haven't said a lot. What are your thoughts?
I don't really remember this one.
I don't. Yeah, it's not super memorable.
you know what's funny is I'm a fan of the Zindi stuff. I think the
Yeah,
Zindi
season
plot
3
stuff
is solid.
Right?
Season 4 is
Yeah.
better, but season 3 of Enterprise is totally decent. Mhm.
No, it's and the fact that it's like I still, just some things just don't stick in your mind. I do love T'Pol's refusal to acknowledge that time travel is real.
Yeah.
Despite all the, it's like she's the Scully of this series, and
Yeah.
and he's like screaming at her, Scully, it's real, and she, but that's about all I
T'Pol's,
really have.
literally like in 2004. Like I don't know, guys.
Yeah. I don't know about this time travel. I think this is hooey.
Vulcan Science Collective says it's not possible.
I actually feel this is a C. What do you guys think? Like, I don't
Sure,
think it's
yeah.
terrible, but it is.
I would
it's
not put it
pretty
on the
forgettable,
same
yeah.
level as Picard season 2.
No. It's not terrible. It just kind of. I would say my biggest issue with it is that like it feels like a cool idea to just do like a John Carpenter-esque time travel thing and just.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you're going to do that, fully commit to the bit and have fun with it. Don't just do like a Star Trek episode with like John Carpenter surface level crap. Don't do that. Commit
Like
to
do
the
a
bit.
thing. Like
Yeah.
do like a Star Trek version of the Thing. I don't know what that would look like.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it though. Like
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Zindi
be really cool.
accidentally makes some sort of monster and it's killing. Oh, that would be so much cooler. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I
Could've
said,
been
like
worked out.
lean into the horror aspect or lean into like the fun adventure stuff. Do something that John Carpenter would do with it. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've
Do
ever
Ghosts of
actually
Mars.
seen the Thing.
You should watch the thing
Yeah,
sometime.
it's
That's
like
a fun
that's
one.
like
That is like
Ooh.
that's
block in my movie.
I'm trying to
knowledge.
think that like in my opinion, he's got like 3 classics for very different reasons. Although the Thing and Halloween are very, very similar in that they're both horror. Although
Oh, he did Halloween.
yeah, he did the
Yeah.
first
Whoa,
Halloween. The
that's
Halloween's
right.
like a low concept horror movie that's done really well. And then the Thing is like a high concept horror movie that's done really well. And then Big Trouble in Little China, which is totally different from those, but just so
Oh,
much fun.
He did do that. I always forget that he did Big Trouble in Little China. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
That's just so much fun. And I love
Yeah,
Kurt Russell as the main character, who's pretty much the sidekick if you think about it. Pretty much.
Just because the camera sticks with him the whole time does not make him the hero.
No. The guy, his friend there, he's the hero. Back to Deep Space Nine. So the episode that we were referencing that references past tense and Gabriel Bell, Little Green Men. Quark gets a ship from his brother Gala and agrees to take Rom to Starfleet Academy. However, he's not doing it strictly to be a nice guy because he's smuggling stuff. Like I want to say it's called chemosite or something like that. How do I remember it's such a random term from this episode? I'm pretty sure.
I'm
that's it.
impressed. I think that's it. I think it was
Yeah.
chemosite. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and they hit some sort of anomaly and they cause the chemosite to throw them back in time to Roswell, New Mexico, where they become a weather balloon. Such a fun way to explain the whole Roswell thing.
It was Quark.
Yeah, it was Quark and
What else do you
smuggling
think?
smuggling shit illegally, and even Nog and Rom find out he's smuggling it, and they're like, "Yeah, we just want to chunk the profit."
Oh, yeah, I love that moment where Rom's like, "I'll take 20%," and then Nog's just like, "Oh, I'll just take 10." Like, "Oh, you're so reasonable, Nog."
I also love how it's like as a Starfleet officer, I have to report this. However, I haven't officially joined yet. I'll take 10.
That was I'd like to say for the record that was genuinely a really good Rom impression. That
Mhm.
like scared me a little bit. I was like, "What? He's here?"
But yeah, I enjoy the crap out of this one. This is fun. Yeah, I love seeing the Ferengi. Like Quark is so quick to try to exploit these people. I love how this episode is like firmly anti-smoking before even like this episode was
so
done.
anti-smoking.
Yeah, this episode was done before the smoking ban in buildings. I remember when the smoking ban in buildings happened, I was like shocked. I was like, oh man, they'll never stick. It's not that big a deal. And then I got used to not smelling smoke everywhere, and I was like, oh, I kind of like that. Because back in this time period, you just smelled smoke everywhere because people smoked everywhere. And
I'm
like
so
they
glad
go,
I wasn't a bartender in the smoking age where like the entire bar would just be like full of smoke and like
Mhm.
everyone would have cancer. Like I'm so glad
Yeah.
I don't live in that era.
I went to bar. I was old enough to go to bars, and yeah, there's just smoke everywhere. And yeah, people smoke indoors like almost all the time. Um, and I love how this episode, like the smoking is so foreign to the Ferengi, and they're like, oh yeah, they're smoking that, it causes cancer. And like, why the fuck are they doing something that causes cancer?
I
Why would
know.
you do that? Why would
I
you?
know. Isn't that like one of the moments too where Quark is like, if they are literally paying for poison, I can make them buy anything.
Yes, yes. Quark's like, these people are fucking marks, and I'm going to exploit it.
Oh, and what's the moment where the general's like, you remind me of my cousin, a used cars salesman? I'm like, that's just perfect, right?
Yeah.
there.
No, like this is another example where they have this goofy premise, and unlike some things we've already gone over, it exploits its premise and has fun with it. I enjoy the shit out of this. This is fun. I would go A on this one. How about you guys?
Honestly, it's we have a great doggo, and that great doggo turns into Odo, and then back
Yes.
into
I
dog.
love that.
It's how do you not love this episode? Like
Yeah.
they're fixing the things in their ears.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like there's so many good moments.
Oh yeah, that's
the
right.
dog
Where they're
like jumps on Quark and they're all like, "Oh, he likes you," and it's like, "Eh," and then he like puts over and it's like, "I got you, buddy."
That's right, because it starts out Universal's translators are busted, and they're like, "What's up with this?" They're trying to hit the Universal
That's
translator, jog it back
And
in,
then everyone
and then
just
they
starts
look at the
imitating
humans,
them.
and the humans are going, and the Ferengi are just like, "What the fuck are they doing? Are their Universal translators broken? They don't have Universal translators. Why are they hitting themselves?"
Oh, there's also a moment in this episode that I think directly referenced. It gets referenced by Futurama, the episode where they travel back to the past to do Roswell stuff. And
Yeah.
this, there's that moment where the Ferengi ship just like flies up through a warehouse roof like it's made of like tinfoil and just like
Yeah.
flies away. And the same thing happens in in like 10 years later in the
Okay.
Futurama episode about Roswell. I always wondered if that was like if Futurama was referencing that or not. But this episode's amazing.
Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoy it. Actually, I think it's interesting. Both these episodes are back to back, but we'll cover them both. In fact, guys, I'm going to actually change the order slightly on here. I'm going to do Shattered before Face the Strange, although I feel like both those episodes kind of do a very similar thing. But we're going to go into the Voyager episode Shattered. This is I want to say midway through season 7 of Voyager, so the final season. The ship gets broken up into different time periods. And because of an inoculation the doctor accidentally gave Chakotay, he can travel to the different time periods on the ship, and he's the only one who can. So, like, you have engineering where the ship is conquered by the Kazons. You have, this corridor where the ship is being attacked by a macroorganism. You have several, like, you have the Astrometrics, which is like in the future that's being run by future Icheb and future Naomi Wildman. You have all these different time periods. The bridge is, I want to say, Voyager before it even leaves space dock when it's getting ready to go. And yeah, Chakotay is the only one that's able to travel between the two. And eventually, and actually for a decent amount of the episode, he recruits Janeway before the early Janeway that's on the bridge before they leave space dock, and he's able to go over a lot of the storyline with her. In a lot of ways, this almost serves as kind of like a recap episode, but it's kind of clever and fun how it does it with the time travel stuff. And it also feels kind of like almost kind of like a home run kind of episode where they're kind of celebrating all the past of Voyager and revisiting it.
Mm-hmm.
They even get a cameo in here of the one cheesy villain. I'm brain farting of his
Seska?
name. No, well, Seska's here, but no, the really cheesy villain, Dr. Chaotica. That's it.
Oh,
yes,
yes.
From Tom Paris' holodeck program.
Mhm.
Yeah, they bring back lots of old guest stars and stuff like that in this. I enjoy this. I don't say I would love it, but I enjoy this, especially as like a final season episode, just going back and looking at the past of the series. I think this is fun. What do you guys think?
I would put this in B. I agree with you.
Oh.
What do you think, Lindsay?
Well, I might have been inclined to put it in B, but then I had a thought this recent time as I was watching this. Like, I have always enjoyed this one because, like you said, it's kind of a recapped episode, but they bring back the actors, so it's new content. It's not just like a clip show. It's like legitimately doing new things with old characters, so that's kind of fun. But then there's a moment in this one where they start talking about Dante's Inferno, where Janeway lent it to Chakotay, and that's how he read it and stuff. So I wonder, like, is this episode trying to do a thing where like Chakotay's like guiding Janeway through the levels of hell that is like the Delta Quadrant and like what their voyage is going to be like? Like, I'm not like, I could be overthinking it, but like there's something, I think there might be something there, and that I don't think
I like that idea.
I really like the concept of that. Admittedly, though, I don't really trust the Voyager writing team to have been like, we're going to have.
Well, I would argue intention doesn't matter. They did put it there.
I know,
and it does work on that level. I don't argue.
I know. I'm just saying I think it's a cool idea. I just don't necessarily think it was written that way.
Listen, I get panning Voyager. I'm not the biggest fan, but there are good Voyager.
I know.
There's well-written Voyager, guys.
I'm not attacking anyone, guys.
Quit attacking Voyager.
I feel attacked as a fan of Voyager, Ashley.
So do we want to go B on this one?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to push for A, but B is fine. B is totally fine.
I feel it.
Can I be honest? I kind of lean towards low A as well. I kind of really enjoy this. I think this is a fun little episode.
Hey, B plus, A minus, sure. Yeah.
Here, we'll put it. We're gonna put it here. Actually, I'm gonna move Tomorrow's Yesterday to the back because that one is. And kind of. We're kind of following up with almost the same thing. It's Face the Strange from season 5 of Discovery. This is where a time bug infects Discovery, and because when it activates, Burnham and her new first officer Rayner were in mid-transport. The transport kind of fizzles out, but also makes them kind of separate from the effects of the time bug. And what the time bug does is force the ship through different time periods. So like every few minutes, it's cycling through a different time period. So we see it almost like a different event in the series happening. And we jump back and forth, future, past. And then they also have to get together with Stamets, who was established in magic to make the Satanist man go mad, which we go over later. Is kind of separated from the timeline. However, he is still jumping through the timeline. So like he is maintaining his memories, but like he is still like, he has to move to this place, to that place, because the timeline is jumping him around. There's even a scene where he's like terribly injured in sick bay, and he's like, fuck, I forgot how bad this hurt. I think this is fun. I think
sadly this is one I didn't get to, so you guys have to kind of take the reins on this one.
Okay.
But that sounds super dope. I'm kind of into that. I haven't seen a lot of later Discovery. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I kind of want to go watch this now. That sounds cool.
The season 5 Discovery I have issues with it, but it's decent. And I would say one things it does, and which not really, although this is really probably one of the better standalone episodes of Discovery, which actually there aren't a whole lot of standalone episodes of Discovery. But this is actually one of the better standalone ones. I think this one works. And I will also say to season 5 credits of Discovery. So the main villain in Discovery season 5 is the Breen, and they actually explore them quite a bit more.
Oh, what? Oh, yes. Now I need to watch season. Oh, I love the Breen.
And you know what? Like they get more terrifying when they start explaining them more. It's like,
Really?
holy shit, these guys are motherfuckers.
Oh, that was always my biggest thing about DS9. It's like they introduced the Breen in like the last eighth of the show, and
Yeah.
but they're so cool, but they don't really get to do much. Okay, well now I need
That's
to
what
watch all
season 5
Discovery.
Discovery does. It picks up that.
They're
Yeah.
always like killing everyone like off screen, and I've told you before, but it must be said again. Whenever they talk about how like the Breen have like overtaken like a planet or something, I always imagine like that one. Hey, I of course I imagine that they are all Neo Breen under the mask. And I always imagine that one like really
I
like
cannot believe you took over that planet. I cannot believe you committed genocide. I cannot believe.
like I just always imagine that one scene where he's like jumping off like the building and it just like explodes after it, but it's like really like it looks really bad, and that's what I imagine every time they talk about like the
Yeah.
Breen overtaking
But
a planet.
I mean, that's actually one of the timelines because they go to the future here. One of the timelines is the recently rebuilt Federation that they had just established like the 2 years before had just been decimated by the Breen. And we see the Breen warships in Discovery as well, and they are fucking goddamn. They're
That
insane.
sounds sick. I want to see what that looks like. Oh my God.
But yeah,
Okay.
this is a good one. It gives me lots of vibes of Shattered. I will say overall, I like the characters here better than Chakotay, but I would say overall, I don't know if I quite enjoy this as much as Shattered, but
Okay.
it's good. It's solid. It's a fun one. For me, this is a solid B. What do you guys think?
I'd put it
Well,
in B too.
I guess you didn't get to it. You put in B as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put right behind Shattered. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing as Shattered, except for Discovery. All right, back to the Temporal Cold War. Although here we're going to the end of the Temporal Cold War with Stormfront. This is okay. So this is again a really cool premise. So after the Xindi storyline, Archer ends up getting thrown back in time as well as Enterprise to World War II times. And in this World War II history, the Nazis occupy the United States, or at least the East Coast of the United States, which is like, I remember when I was rewatching this not that long ago, I was like, holy shit, that's a cool premise. What the hell is going on? How did this happen?
Am I losing my mind? Where did is Stormfront on there?
That's Shockwave.
Oh wait, no, I'm
Yeah.
losing. Oh wait, no.
Oh,
Shockwave,
funny.
okay, I'm losing my mind. I messed up the names, and I was like, yeah, didn't we already rank that? Where is it? Why can't I see it? I'm.
But yeah, it's established that there are aliens that aren't the Suliban who are fighting in this temporal Cold War, and they've influenced Earth's history, and they're helping the Nazis win World War II. And Archer and the crew have to prevent them. This is a really cool premise. And fun fact, the guy who played the Super Nazi in The Killing Game gets to come back and essentially play the same role here, which is kind of fun. But this is a lot like Shockwave. Really interesting setup for episode 1. And then season 2 feels like it's just so eager to wrap up the temporal Cold War that it doesn't really care about anything else, and it just ends it. And like part of me is like, okay, I'm happy to resolve the temporal Cold War, but like, can we do something cool with this setup you have? Like, you have such a cool setup. Can you do something with it that's cool? I don't know.
You're watching like a show or something, and the offer set up something really big, and then suddenly they go, "Wait a minute, we didn't figure out how we were going to solve this."
Yes.
And it's always like, man, what are we doing?
Mhm.
Shouldn't you have thought about that earlier?
So, did you get a chance to watch this one as well?
I did watch this one.
Okay.
In fact, that was the one where at the beginning I said that I had been watching the Star Treks until like less than an hour ago. I watched Stormfront Part 2. I watched most of them earlier in the day, but then Paramount Plus crashed, and I was like, I'm gonna give it some time to sit and think about its actions.
Yeah. But yeah, a really cool setup and just kind of half-ass ending. Lindsay, what are your thoughts on Stormfront?
This is another case of great setup, and I can't tell you how this episode ends. I've seen this episode these two parts 2 or 3 times, and I think it just kind of just wraps up, and then they end up back in the 21st century, and none of it mattered essentially, right?
Like kind of ends. Like I don't even really know how to quite explain it properly. I know I was watching it with my grandparents, I guess a couple of hours ago now, and we were talking about it, and we were like, "Wait a minute. But how did that resolve things?"
And it didn't.
I don't know.
Essentially, is Archer and Silik team up in episode 2, and Silik's been like the main temporal war, Cold War bad guy they've been working with, and they team up to solve this. And Silik dies, and that's kind of the resolution to Nazis occupying North America for some reason.
Yeah, I
don't ask me how that
Nazis are
works,
like battle droids. If you take away their leader, they just deactivate. So,
but Silik wasn't their leader.
No, that's right,
It doesn't even make sense.
They're like, yeah, but how did that resolve anything? And I was like, I think it might have been poorly written.
Yeah, cool setup. This is again, this is a lot like Shockwave.
Yeah.
I'm giving it. I would put it in C because I think the setup is good enough not to put it in D. But the resolution just
they're sister 2-parters. I feel.
Yeah,
I feel.
And just to give it like a little bit of compliment too, I love how part 1 opens with the shuttlecraft getting shot at by like World War II era guns, and it's just not doing anything. That's a really cute little moment. And then like they start kicking up the caliber of the weapons that they start shooting at them, and then eventually one of them is kind of scary. That's fun. Yeah. I'm into that.
The whole thing does start pretty abruptly.
It's a cool setup. Yeah,
I was watching it, and I was like, we're like 5 seconds in, and I was like, oh my goodness, we're in it. It started.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Okay, so next up is very much a different take on time travel than Star Trek has really done, although I kind of appreciate it. This is the season 2 TNG episode Time Squared, where they encounter a shuttlecraft that is in there. Like Enterprise encounters a shuttlecraft that is already in their launch bay. So it's like they have this shuttlecraft, but there's another one out here, and that shuttlecraft has a Picard in it, and
Picard.
Yeah, a Picard, but Picard's on their ship. So they're like, what's going on? So they bring it on board, and essentially they're trying to get information from the shuttlecraft. They have to figure out how, like, essentially the shuttlecraft has to operate in reverse. They can't just do normal stuff to it. They have to do everything in reverse to actually get information from it. And Picard's kind of almost spaced out and not completely there, the shuttlecraft Picard. And what they find out is it's all from the future. And as it gets closer to the time period it's supposed to be, Picard will start becoming more reasonable. They're able to dig up information from the shuttlecraft to find out that essentially Enterprise was destroyed and Picard got into a shuttlecraft and seemingly ran away. And everybody's like, that doesn't sound fucking right at all. Like, Picard just runs away when the ship's in danger? That's not right? Yeah. And the episode's actually like done in like kind of almost like a thriller way. I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. This is
I thought of it as being kind of horror-ish when I watched it. It doesn't like fully go there, but there's definitely like stuff in it where it's like, oh, that's
uneasy. I mean,
I will go more in depth when it comes around to me.
What do you think, Lindsay?
I mean, 2 Datas talking to each other, 2 Picards talking to each other. I'm into it. Like, this is the age when people were like, "Oh, we can do this easily now. Let's just split our cast all over the place." Oh. And it's a fun mystery. You kind of know where it's going because it's like, oh, the ship got destroyed, and so you kind of. But so obviously there's something big and bad at the end. But that's kind of every story, right? So it's a little simple, but I'm kind of into it. Like, who's this other Picard? Where'd he come from? What else do you need? I'm down.
Yeah, why did he run away? Because his ship was in danger.
It is not a perfect episode by any means, but when I wanted to do like time travel Star Trek, part of the reason that I wanted to do that was because I thought it would be cool to find episodes that were like this.
Yeah,
I really like the way that it handles like time travel and stuff like that as more of a serious and
you want people to hear Lindsay if he talks.
as more of sort of a serious and sort of at times frightening thing, you know. As much as I like I also definitely enjoy goofy time travel as exhibited by the fact that I was, I don't know, like 30 minutes ago or something, I was like, I love Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah.
It's because I do. But I do really like this as well. I felt that it did a really good job. It had a really good atmosphere to it. I really liked the soundtrack.
I was about ready to say, like, this is still when TNG was doing the full-fledged like 80s synth soundtrack. I think it works really well for this episode because it works.
I distinctly remember too, they had this piece that they did where it wasn't synths, it was all like strings, and the way that they played it was like I don't know. I used to play the cello, so I felt like I could almost see it a little bit, but it's like the way that they were sort of like twisting like the bow and stuff like that, it made it sound very uneven and hectic and almost sort of like what I always imagine when I hear like the string sounding like that is almost sort of someone like sort of dropping their bow, if that makes any sense. Which obviously isn't exactly what that is, but I don't know. It's really good. It was cool. I liked it.
You like this one?
Yeah. I wouldn't put it in like S or anything because I know it's not like that good, but I do really like the concept, and I think the execution in many ways is also like pretty good.
Yeah,
it could be better, but like it's very distinctive, especially among all of the other ones that we have here.
Yeah, and it handles time travel way differently than any other Star Trek story I've ever seen. Usually time travel, you just go back in the past and, hey, what's up? You talk to yourself. Here it's like everything's reversed. The person who's out of time, he's like out of sync. And he can't even think clearly. You get one of the things I like is it's a good use of Troy, because Troy's the only one who can kind of communicate with the other Picard, and she just dives into his head and she's like, it is just a scramble. It is nonsense. He can't make sense of anything. He is terrified. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on around him, and it's freaky. It's freaky. Yeah.
And I think that actually is interesting in this episode because people don't talk about that a lot. Like, if you found yourself suddenly time traveling, it would kind of like take a minute to really wrap your head around it. Like, there's there's understanding time travel, and then there's realizing, wait, I'm in yesterday. What does that mean? Like it's so I like that they do kind of have him portray. Yeah, he's asleep for a lot of it and stuff, but like the confusion and the fear and all that, like it feels pretty human, honestly.
Yeah.
If I saw me running around as like a time traveler, I'd be like, man, what am I about to do?
Yeah. And I do like to kind of spoil the episode a bit because I do like the twist, but like also it's 30 years old. But like when they get to the alien that attacks them, that causes all this, and it starts attacking Picard and specifically targeting him, and then like when you get that moment of, oh shit, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Because the second it starts attacking him, it's like, oh shit, it's attacking me. I need to separate from the ship and protect it. It's like, oh shit, that's what happened. Holy crap.
I know when we watched this, I kept on like pointing at the TV and being like,
that's it. That's what happened. Mystery solved. I think this is a solid A in my opinion.
Very solid
A. I'm down for that. I mean, look, the world's great with one Picard in it. You put a second Picard in it, how bad can it be?
You put an out of time Picard that's kind of insane and going nuts. Yeah.
Also, like, you have like Picard is like so like composed, and he always seems like he kind of has everything together, and a part of that is a front because he's very professional.
Yeah,
but like imagining Picard that freaked out, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, something has him that freaked out. That's kind of terrifying. So next one this is definitely kind of just a time travel hijinks one. Relativity. This is one where the future time ship from, I want to say 26th or 27th century, recruits 7 of 9 to stop a person from the future from putting a bomb on Voyager and destroying them. And it's this weird thing where they have to find what time period the bomb is placed. First, they have to find out where the bomb is, but then they also have to find out when the bomb is placed, because they can't just go to the future and take it off. They have to figure out when it's placed and then take it off there. It is wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey nonsense.
Yeah, I'm
kind of down for it.
Admittedly, I wasn't super into this episode, but one of the things that I do like about it is that it is like fully aware of how ridiculous everything is. And I really appreciate that they know who they are and what they're doing.
Yes, yes. What do you think, Lindsay?
Well, this is the one. So I watched Shattered first, and then I watched this one. And this is one that made me realize the pattern in Voyager time travel episodes of, oh God, everybody, I'm traveling through time. Oh, no, you're not. Shut up. But I am. No, you're not. And which isn't really a bad thing, but like it wasn't really that big of a deal here. It's going to be a much bigger deal in Before and After coming up in a minute here. But like you said, this episode's just silly. We got 7 of 9 talking to 7 of 9. We have ping pong balls freezing in the air. We have 7 of 9 in a legitimate Starfleet uniform, which
Which
it's
I
like when,
appreciate.
right?
Honestly,
It's like
I
when
think she
Troy
looks better in the
got to.
Starfleet uniform, if for no other reason she looks less uncomfortable or more uncomfortable or less uncomfortable. Yeah.
She looks better.
100%.
She looks more uncomfortable.
Yeah, I want her more. No. The fucking high heel outfit was always stupid. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it's the worst.
Mine
And
is
the green trim of, I guess, the engineering or what was that? It looked good on her. Like
Yeah.
it was a good look. It's like when Troy finally gets to like actually wear the uniform. It's like, why haven't we been doing this?
Yeah.
And I like how it's kind of a switch. Like it's a 7 of 9 episode, and then becomes a Janeway episode. That's kind of fun. And bringing
Mhm.
back Braxton again is a very good thing. I'm a big fan of what is it, the Future's End or whatever, or
Yeah.
whatever the other episode was.
I'm a little disappointed they didn't bring back the same actor, but at the same time, we got Bruce McGill in it, and Bruce McGill is like pretty solid in everything, so I'm kind of down for it.
I do think it's really funny when they have like past Janeway go and travel through time.
Yeah.
And they're like, literally just get him at this one specific point and then we'll be good. And
Yeah.
then she just kind of like grabs him. And
Yeah,
like
and then they're
2
good.
seconds,
and then,
she's back there for like 2 seconds and she's just like, aha, I gotcha. And he's like, oh no.
yeah.
Oh,
So
and
like,
what's
for
the
me,
moment right after that where they're like, we'll integrate all 3 of them together and then try them? I'm like, what does that mean? You're going to melt 3 people into one? What is happening here?
I will say there is the little bit in the time shift that does a little bit concern me, the future of the Federation, where they end up arresting Captain Braxton for crimes that he will commit.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
scary on that one. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
like
true.
that.
Yeah, I wasn't
That's
super
true.
into that.
Like if they just removed him from that case, I would get it, because like, you know, you can't investigate yourself. But like actually arresting him for shit that he hasn't done yet, I don't like that. I
When
don't
he
like
said that line, I could like feel that there was like a writer in the room who like he wrote that and he was like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm cooking,
I
and
was
now I'm like, no, you're not.
and I
No,
saw
you're
that and
not.
I was like, no.
That being said, I think this is a solid B. Honestly, for the most part, I think the B's in this category are good enough, and I think this is a
Yeah.
solid B. You know,
I
What do
also
you
love how
guys
this is B's the way to go, and I love how it's the 3rd B Voyager episode.
Yeah.
This is
With 3 for
Voyager just lives in
3.
B.
Avoid,
Let's be
yeah.
honest.
Listen, if it wanted to get S and A, it needed to be TNG or DS9. It's that simple,
Listen,
Voyager.
the thing about Voyager is that there are lots of things in Voyager that I do like, but as like an overall show, it does kind of live and be
As an
different.
overall show, I think it's good enough, but also misses so much opportunity that had.
It's extreme peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
And
the
I
peaks
would
are
say
still good.
Enterprise is similar, although I would say Enterprise definitely gets more of its opportunities than Voyager does, especially in the last season.
Yeah.
Well,
the Xindi season was almost what Voyager should have been. Like things were carrying
Yes.
over. The ship
So-
was continuously damaged. Like,
So yeah, so a little trivia on the Xindi season. So Year of Hell, which we will get to later, was
Right.
originally pitched to be a season of hell, the whole Year of Hell. And the Xindi storyline was that Ryder allowed to actually do that, because he wasn't allowed to do it in Voyager, and then he was allowed to do it in Enterprise, and he was like, woohoo! That's what the Xindi storyline was.
I love that so much. Good for that guy.
And next we get to Discovery, which I think might only be our second or our last Discovery episode, although we haven't done any of the Strange New Worlds ones yet. We got a couple of those coming up.
That's true.
Magic to make the sanest man go mad. This is the episode where Harry Mudd goes kind of insane and tries to kill the crew by having them do Groundhog Day shit and repeating time over and over again. I actually don't think this is terrible, even though it sounds like I'm kind of panning. I don't think this is terrible, but I do have issues with it, and it's mostly because I think the character of Harry Mudd is fun, and I think Rainn Wilson is brilliant casting, and I don't like how they wrote him as like borderline psychopath. He's like a charlatan.
Yeah.
Like if he was doing these hijinks to the ship as some sort of heist thing, it would make more sense. But instead, it's like he's wants blood, and it's like,
No, Mud wants blood. It's in.
Mud
That's
wants
Yeah.
why he's
I'm not a huge fan of how they write Mud here. The episode itself is entertaining enough. It's not one of my favorites, but it's entertaining. But what do you guys think?
I love Rainn Wilson. I love Mud. It's fun. It's kind of got that Discovery. I don't know. There's something about Discovery that just doesn't really sit right with me sometimes. I can't really put a finger on it, but it's definitely kind of going on here. But I do like this episode. I love looping days. I love the groundhog effect. I think it does that really well. And the fact that there's one character outside of the expected character who's aware of the effect, I think that kind of puts an interesting twist on things.
Yes.
I like how they kind of play with the relationship of Michael and Tyler. Is that his name, or her little
Ash
boyfriend?
Tyler. Yeah, he
Ash
would have been
Tyler.
there. Not gonna
Or-
lie, legit one of my least favorite Star Trek characters ever.
He's not great, but they're kind of cute together. It sort of works. He's not great though. And I love watching Lorca get killed during that montage of just Lorca deaths over and over again. That's just fun.
That is kind of fun. Yeah.
So for me, this is probably like a low B, maybe a C, but it's fun. There's a space whale. Who doesn't love space whales?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd quite put this in C, but for me, it's a low B. Do you remember this one, Ashley? It's been a while.
Not really.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think low B is fair for it, though. Well,
It sounds kind of like a low B episode.
Yeah.
To me.
Well, here, this is one I remember really liking as a kid, and I don't know if I like it quite as much now, though I do overall enjoy it. This is our first introduction to Captain Braxton with Voyager's Future's End. So Voyager gets attacked by a time ship who says they have to be wiped from history to save like the universe essentially in the future.
And they're
Sure.
just like, I'm
And
killing you."
Voyager's like, well, we're going to try to stop you. And they end up sending the ship back to 1997, which is when this episode was filmed.
This is
So they're doing the gimmick again.
this is kind of like the prequel to Relativity in a way. Isn't that
Yes,
that one
yes.
dude the same guy?
Yeah, it's the same
It
dude
is,
played by a
yeah,
different
yeah.
actor, but
It'd be
it's the same
kind of
dude.
funny
Yeah.
if she did that exact same thing to two people.
Well, I mean, this is also before 7 of 9, so we don't have 7 of 9 on this
Yeah.
one. We get introduced to the Doctor's mobile emitter, though. So essentially, they get sent back in time, and this guy who was a hippie comes across the time ship and uses it to essentially do the computer boom of the late 90s with this 29th century technology. And Voyager has to combat him. And at first, the dude thinks Voyager is just from the 29th century and he has, and he's like outgunned. Then he stumbles across the fact that Voyager's from the 24th century and all their shit is way more primitive than the shit he has. So, I think it does a good job of playing with the kind of the escalation of like, he thinks Voyager has the upper hand, but no, he still actually has the upper hand.
I was really confused when they started talking about the mobile emitter and like the way that they were talking
Yeah.
about it. I was like, did he not have that?
Nope, he didn't get that until this episode.
I knew it. They introduced it like midway through, but I didn't realize we were on that episode.
I mean,
So
that was
took
actually
me
one of
off
the
guard.
fun things in Shattered because the doctor that gives him the inoculation, Chakotay's like, well, let's go explore the ship. And the doctor's like, well, that's all well and good, but I can't leave sick bay. And he's like, well, where's your mobile emitter? And the doctor's like, the fuck you talking about?
That is such a great moment. As a kid,
Yeah.
the first time I watched that episode, I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I love this one though. Future End's so good. Sarah
Future End's-
Silverman is
it's fun. Yeah.
I love her Sarah Silverman's relationship with Tom Paris. I love how like Tom is like so close to being right about things from this century, but he's also
Yeah.
just so incredibly wrong. It's just really funny. And just anytime you have people from Star Trek interacting with the past, it works in a way. And when we were talking about earlier, using the setting. Because in this timeline in Star Trek, apparently all of our computer technology and the boom of the late 19th century, or at least late 20th century, all came from 29th century technology.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cute.
Yeah,
I'm
it's kind of a
into
fun
that,
idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like, and it's not Nazis, so I'll definitely take it.
I do like that Tom Paris knows about the B movies from the time period. Like
Yes.
that's such a him thing. You
Yeah.
know? Like
Oh, I'm brain farting, but oh, I hate it when I brain fart. Oh yeah.
I love
So
it when you brain fart.
in part 2, when B'Elanna and Chakotay get captured by like the guys in fucking out in the middle of nowhere. I'm not gonna lie. I watched that and I'm like, my God, these guys are so coded as MAGA before MAGA was a thing.
Yeah.
You can't tell me they didn't vote for Trump. Come on, you can't tell me. But
That is really funny, but I do need to bring up that plot line always feels so out of left field for me. Like there's so much
Yeah.
other stuff going on, and then suddenly they get kidnapped by rednecks.
yeah.
I know when we were watching that, and then suddenly like these guys show up. They're like, we knew the government was gonna come after us one day, and I was like, what is happening?
I think this is Voyager's first foray into this, but I feel this is a solid A tier. What do you guys think?
A feels fair. I like A.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably my favorite out of the Voyager ones we've discussed. It feels right to me.
What do you think, Lindsay?
A seems good. I love this one. I really do. I grew up. I lived in LA. I love seeing Griffith Observatory. I love seeing the beach. It's fun. I really enjoy this one a lot. And again, it uses the premise well. It's good. It's a good one.
Depending on how this goes, T might just be the season 2 Picard tier.
As it should be.
Yeah.
We'll see. It
actually-
might be actually looking over this. We'll see.
Well, I'm going to make a strong argument for the next one if we're ready to move on.
Yeah, I was about ready to say the next one I think is the strongest contender. So this is the original series episode Assignment Earth, where once again the Enterprise goes back in time to the time it was filmed in 68 or whatever. It was like a year later. They encounter this guy, Gary Mitchell, not Gary Mitchell, Gary Seven.
It's Gary Mitchell.
Yeah, Gary Mitchell was Where No Man Has Gone Before, which, by the way, much better episode. Yeah, they encounter Gary Seven. He's this dude with this cat that apparently occasionally turns into a lady.
Yeah.
But he's this alien, I think, maybe even from the future, who's like working on Earth and trying to prevent other aliens from fucking around with Earth's history. And this is totally a backdoor pilot meant to do a Gary Seven series.
Yeah.
And I think if you break it down to just the premise, I think there's an interesting idea here. And I think like you could talk about how like Gary Seven's trying to prevent this alien invasion. And maybe even you could do like a crossover in the original series where they're dealing with those aliens, and you could do some fun crossovers with these two disparate time periods.
I feel like the Gary 7 series could have been really cool had they actually done it.
Yeah, the problem is, as a backdoor pilot, this does not sell me on it, because this is really fucking boring and dry. I do not care really much for it. It does have Terry Garr, who is always fun to see, but yeah, this does not work. As much as I like criticized Tomorrow's Yesterday for being kind of forgettable, at least for the most part, it's fun. It has some funny stuff. This doesn't even have that. It is so much more boring, in my opinion. And the fact that like a lot of the Enterprise crew sits out for Gary 7 stuff feels really rough. I am not a fan of this. Lindsay, if you want, I was leaning more towards very low C on this, but I don't know. Maybe I could be talking to D. What do you think, Lindsay?
I'm gonna push for D because I've got a dark confession here. I've tried watching this episode 2 or 3 times before I have never managed to get through this episode without falling asleep.
It's a rough. Oh yeah, no, it's a rough one. I think on the 2 rewatches we've done, because we did one rewatch when we were first doing this list, and then we ended up postponing it, and then we did a rewatch more recently. I think on the more recent rewatch, I didn't fall asleep, but the first time I did.
This is one of those episodes where you find yourself scrolling on your phone and you don't even know how you got there.
Yeah. It's like, wait, why? I'm not even watching this. What the hell?
You're like, wait a minute, the episode's happening?
Yeah. Oh, they're launching a shuttle?
over?
What? They're launching a...
yeah, it's yeah, I just don't. Yeah, and then the other thing to go against this, I know this isn't technically this episode's fault, but it's also entirely this episode's fault. Star Trek Picard season 2 is in no small way inspired by this episode, and I think that should be a sin against it.
Gary Seven should have been in Star Trek Picard
Listen,
season 2. He would have made
listen.
it better.
I don't think this is as bad as Star Trek Picard season 2, but it
Yeah.
is bad.
The cat's cute. I'll give it that. The cat's cute.
The
Yeah.
cat's adorable.
The cat is one of the best characters.
Although I don't know how I feel when it turns into a sexy lady.
Yeah, at the
I'm
end,
like,
but it just like
I don't
turns
know how I
into,
feel about that.
like,
I don't know.
hot
I mean, I don't
lady,
know.
and then it ends, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't
It's a
even know it
sexy
turned
lady
into
now,
a sexy
what?
lady.
Is
I've never
that
seen
why
that. I
you
always
wanna
fall
watch
asleep.
This TV show. It's because the cat periodically turns into a sexy lady.
Yeah, I'm so confused. So
Oh.
yeah, I think
Wow.
yeah, this is not the original series at its best
No.
at all.
I will say, sure, you want to put it above Picard season 2, that's fine. But yeah,
yeah,
D tier is
yeah,
more
I would
appropriate.
definitely
I
go
would-
above Picard season 2, but yeah.
I would never put. Listen, I could never put it below Picard season 2. You don't understand the agony.
Mhm. So listen, the closest Lower Decks ever gets to a time travel episode is Boimler's holodeck program, where they deal with a chronogami, and it is legit probably one of my all-time favorite Star Trek episodes. It's hilarious, but it's not actual time travel, and there's actual time travel episodes that aren't credited in here, so it would feel bad to put that in there.
Isn't that the one where he has the backstory?
Yes.
I
Oh, God, I
love
love
watching
it.
that with him because
I
he
die.
bursts out laughing every time the guy like reveals his backstory. It's
So-
like
I just have to talk about because it's so funny. So, like, Boimler decides to explore his holodeck program to explore the tertiary characters that weren't actually that he didn't write for, so the computer has to write for him. And it's kind of this scathing. It's a pretty savage attack on AI, really, and I love it. But like, so the computer has to come up with this stuff, and then Mariner's like, the computer is just stalling to come up with backstory for this guy, and then the computer program stands up and goes, "You want to see my backstory?" And it takes off his robe and shows this map on his back and explains his backstory. The computer is taking the backstory literally. It's like the funniest thing ever. I die laughing almost every time.
every time it happens, he's just like
I can't stop.
he
It
like
is the
starts like
Dumbest
crying.
thing ever. I have never thought of a backstory as being literally a story on somebody's back. Fantastic episode. This episode, I wouldn't say is quite so good, but it's the closest we get to Lower Decks in a time travel episode is the Strange New Worlds episode, Those Old Scientists, which I really appreciate. I wish Star Trek did this more. When there's concurrent series, do at least one crossover.
Yeah.
Do something. And here we get a Lower Decks and Strange New World crossover. I think this is a lot of fun. I love Boimler just going back and like geeking out because he's with number one, he's with Pike, he's with Spock, and even Mariner gets to go back and she's like, "Oh my God, it's Uhura! Uhura's here! Oh my God!" And I also love one element that I think is great here is how essentially one of their crew members is Tendi, who's in Orion, and she talks about how there was a Orion science ship in this area back in Pike's time. And even at the time, Boimler was like, "I thought it was a pirate ship." And she was like, "That is a racial prejudice, sir. Not all Orions are pirates. That was a science ship that was back then." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And so when he ends up going back to Pike's time, he's like, "Oh, guys, just FYI, that's not a pirate ship. It's a science ship." And Pike's like, "Do Orions have science ships? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I know. Trust me, it's a science ship." So they contact on the view screen, and they're talking to the captain of this science ship, who's dressed like in the most pirate getup you could fucking imagine. He is so unambiguously a pirate, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm just a science ship." And then he steals something because he's a fucking pirate.
Of
And
course.
I just love how it plays with how, history may not be 100% accurate, guys. Boimler's like from the future, but like, "Oh, this is definitely what happened." No, it's not. No, it's I just love elements like that. I think there may be a bit too much fan service in this, which is why I won't put it with S tier. But this is really, really fun. I would make a strong argument to put this in A tier. But what do you guys think?
He
I
seems
would put
good.
him
I
in.
love me some Jack Quaid. He's my favorite
Yeah.
Nepo baby of all time. So
Yeah.
Oh, he's a
like,
great like.
Jack Quaid is the best Nepo baby.
As
I
much as
feel.
I'm not generally thrilled with Nepo babies, I'm cool with Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid
Right.
is willing to acknowledge that he is a Nepo baby.
Plus, he is
And
so
he's
much.
talented.
He is way cooler than his dad and his uncle, like
Yeah.
by a huge
Yes.
margin. Not even
Yes.
close. He is definitely the best of those three. So yeah, no question, Jack Quaid for sure. So A tier on this one.
sounds good to me. I mean, like
Yeah.
Jack, I admit it. I'm not above admitting it. I have a bit of a guy crush on Jack Quaid. He's kind of the perfect human being. Like it's like I can't
Dude.
vote for him to go lower than that. Like,
Dude, like I remember just something I think it really defined them, in my opinion, when Roe versus Wade was overturned. Randy Quaid did a video celebrating it. It's like, yeah, that needed to happen. It needed to happen. Thank God it finally happened. Jack Quaid started doing fundraisers to help fund women's abortions.
wow.
And started sharing links to help that out. And it's like, oh, that is so much cooler. Thank you,
He's-
Jack.
He's so
That's
base.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, now we're returning to Deep Space Nine. The best Star Trek, objectively.
Oh, the sound of her
No
voice
argument.
too. This is such a good
Yeah,
one.
the sound of her voice. This is definitely
Oh.
one of the darker ones, but it's a cool character episode. So essentially, the Defiant gets this signal, and it's a few days away at maximum warp. But like the woman, it's a signal, it's a distress call. Captain of the ship, she is going to die if they don't get to her in time. It's played by Deborah Wilson, who is always great. And essentially we get the characters talking to her because like she's all alone on this planet, and she is in a rough place, and they're just there to lend their voice and help her and support her while they rush to try to save her, keeping an eye on her condition and stuff like that. It is a really, really cool episode. It's a great character piece where we get to, not just, explore her character, but explore how all the other characters are interacting with her and how they handle this.
Yeah.
And you might be like, gee whiz, why is this a time travel story? And it's because there's a temporal interference with the planet, and her voice is they're communicating with a person from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it is like this really tragic ending where they get there and she's super dead. It is dark, but it's a well-crafted episode. But what do you guys think? I've been yakking. I like this episode. This is awesome. I think this was your pick too, Lindsay. But yeah.
I think so, because there's this one and there's another one from Voyager. This reminds me of that I quite like, the one where they talk through the mini wormhole to the Romulans. It doesn't matter, through the eye of the needle or something.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was season 1. Yeah.
And the fact that they're both such tearjerkers, man. Like, what is it about just people talking through time that's so sad? But this episode, it's such a great character exploration because it gives each of our main characters the chance to just sit down and talk to someone that they don't know and kind of just say what's on their mind. And I know that sounds like cheesy and simple, but cheese and simple is like the base ingredients of storytelling, and it really works here. Like, so many of the scenes are so cute, like when Bashir's like running tests or something like that, and so he's only partially listening to her, and so she starts fake dying. And then she like starts being a Klingon, and it's just like, what do you care what happened to her? You weren't even listening. It's just a great bit. This is just a good episode, straight up good episode.
Ashley?
I like what's her face, the lady that was dead the whole time.
Deborah Wilson.
I like her as a character. I think that she was fun. Sucks that she was dead the whole time.
Yeah. Fucking sad. Because like you actually get to know her and like her, and then you're just hoping that they get to her, and then when they get to her, it's like, oh fuck. That's gotta fuck with you. The part of it was them rushing towards the end because they're like, oh god, she's suffocating, she's dying, and they're rushing and they're literally hearing her dying. And when we get to it, it's like there's literally nothing they can do. This happened a long time ago.
I think it's kind of wild to think that they were talking to like a dead person.
Yeah,
like that's bizarre.
It is wild, but yeah. I say this is a solid A. What do you guys think?
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
We're getting lots of A's. Most of these are pretty good though.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on to the next one, which I guess I don't hate, but
That's fine.
it's a Kess episode of Voyager, before and after.
Yeah.
What I will say, the cool, like, this is essentially Kess. So the Ocampans, which is Kess's species, lives to the age of 9 and dies, and that's their whole lifespan. And this is the Doctor experimenting with her at the end of her life, and the side effect is that she ends up living her life backwards, except it's not like it's quite backwards. It's just like her jumping to different points in her history and living them forwards, but then jumping back and then jumping back. Interesting premise. I don't really feel like it really exploits it as well as it could. Probably the best thing it does is literally just tease the year of hell, because like there's a timeline where she goes to and it's the year of hell. They even talk about the Krenim and the torpedoes they use, and like if you actually match up to year of hell, it matches up pretty closely actually.
Yeah.
And there's even the torpedo scene where it's 7 of 9 of Year of Hell, but in this it's Keswick gets the torpedo frequency. By the way, since we watched them so close to each other, I paid attention. The torpedo frequency is the same in both episodes.
That's cool. That's pretty cool.
Remember when she goes back and she's like giving birth, and Tom Paris helps
Yeah.
get the baby out in like the oddest way possible?
Dude, it's the weirdest thing. So she's
Was it
giving
coming
birth and
from
he's
her
like
back?
behind her. And I'm like, okay, so either A, she's giving birth from her back, or B, she's giving birth from her butt. I don't know which one it is, but it's kind of hilarious.
Well, is it that she get, or is it like I for the longest time I always thought she had like a sack on her back that the baby would come out of with, or like did they ever explain it, or is she just
I don't think they ever explain it. Maybe in a
Okay,
different
yeah.
episode,
I
but
was
definitely not
just
in this one. No.
envisioning that every time it cut away and he wasn't speaking, he was just like dropped down.
it's an odd way to give birth
Yeah,
for sure.
what do you
It's
guys
definitely an
think of
odd
this one
thing.
overall? Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. I like Kess. She definitely got the
Yeah.
short end of the stick, but this is kind of
Mhm.
a fun one for her. But this is also the one that confirmed the like every Voyager time travel episode to someone saying, "Please believe me on time traveling." And no
Yeah,
one does.
yeah. That was her in this one. Yeah.
But it's fun. I like seeing all the different ages of Voyager. Like we see like the future Voyager in this, which is cool. Like how in the Shattered episode we see grown up Icheb and Naomi. That's kind of fun. So those
Yeah.
things are cute. I don't know if this is like necessarily a good episode. It's probably a C or B for me, but it's fun. I do
Yeah,
like the
I
year
don't
of
know
hell.
where I'd put it. Where or not it'd be C or B.
One of the things that I thought was kind of cool about this episode is that we learned that the Doctor eventually picks out a name for himself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dr.
that's
Van Gogh.
right.
No, I mean.
Oh, and he has hair. Oh
Yeah.
my god,
He has
Robert
hair.
Picardo with hair is a sight.
When I saw that and it started up and we had like the Doctor as that, I was so confused.
Yeah.
I was like,
What?
"Whoa!" They're like, "Dr. Van Gogh, what do you think?" And I'm like, "What is happening? Like, is he supposed to be playing a different character that's also a doctor? Because that's really confusing."
So are we B or C on this? I don't know.
I think I might lean towards C, but it's not bad.
I might lean in C as well. What do you think, Lindsay? C?
Yeah, C seems fair. Again,
Mm.
I do like Kess, and there's
Yeah.
fun in this episode, but it's yeah.
I think it's where C is kind of lining up to be the ones where it's like, it's not all bad, but it definitely could have been better. And I'm like,
Well, it's just one of those unfortunate time travel episodes. By the end of it, none of it really mattered, and that
Yes.
that kind of takes a couple points away from it. But it is fun. Yeah.
well, there's a big one of those later, but yeah. So the next one is, I believe this is our final Enterprise episode. This is Future Tense. This is where they encounter a ship. They don't know what the ship is, but they bring it on board to study it, and there's a human on board. And they're like, oh, well, let's figure out who this guy is, because they're assuming it's their first thought is this must be Zephyrin Cochrane, who I guess left off and, disappeared, a long time ago, and they were never sure what happened to him. And it's like, maybe this is him. He traveled out this far, and, now we found his body. Except they start figuring out stuff like, number one, this ship is way bigger on the inside than on the outside. It's a literal TARDIS. Like it's just this lily based ship, but then they open this panel that goes down to this huge corridor down beneath, and it's like, that's not how physics works. And then they start figuring out the dude on it isn't 100% human. He's actually a mix of a whole bunch of alien species, and he's from the future.
Mhm.
I'll be 100. I actually kind of like this one because I think it sets up a cool idea and kind of has fun with it. Like there's this bit where time's repeating because it like where they're trying to where Reed and Tucker are trying to like study this ship, so they're taking this panel off, and every time they take the panel off, the moment repeats.
Yeah.
And I love like the first time they go through it, it's just normal, and then the second time it's like, oh hey, I feel like we've had this conversation before, this is kind of familiar. And the third time they flop and they say each other's lines because they're like, okay, this is something fucking happening to us. I think for me, this is the episode that kind of shows the potential of the temporal Cold War because it's kind of a fun episode. I kind of dig this one. But what do you guys think?
I agree with you. I'm very distracted by Kitty Cat right now.
Mhm.
That's about to
There's
say.
nothing I could possibly say that would add to this. I'd just be like, you little fluffy.
I think this is a fun Phlox episode. I do love me some Phlox, and he's got some
Yeah.
stuff going on here. I do like the mystery. Like you said, the moment we realize that the ship is so much bigger on the inside is definitely a cool reveal.
Yeah, because this
and
isn't Doctor Who. They don't usually encounter shit like that on Star Trek.
100%. So I quite like this one too, and this is another good I feel like I'm just repeating you here, but I apologize. Another good use of the temporal Cold War because we're showing crazy technology that people from this time don't really know, and I think that works really well in Enterprise because it's such a, I mean, it's not like a low to the ground series, but it's lower to the ground than the rest of Star Trek.
Yeah.
So the idea that like this level of Starfleet at this point in time where they're still figuring so much out and still understand so little, seeing the possibilities of where things could go, I think that's neat. It's people in the future seeing further in the future. Go ahead.
I just love how essentially you have the most primitive crew coming across something that would stump the TNG crew.
Oh, yeah,
like they would be like, what the fuck's going on here? And now we have like a crew like 200 years earlier and they're even more stumped. They're like, what the fuck? What in the... yeah, so to me this is like where the temporal Cold War should have been. This is like a cool little episode. I don't know if I'd quite rank this as an A. I'd rank it as a high B, but where do you guys think?
I'd put it in B.
B seems pretty fair.
Yeah, it's decent. It's solid.
Yeah.
If they did more temporal Cold War like this, I'd probably feel more favorable towards the temporal Cold War.
Fair.
But here, next up, we got another movie, and this is Ashleen's all-time favorite movie. This is Star Trek 2009.
Even every time we bring up Star Trek 2009, I have to take like a good 5 minutes to talk shit. It's just the way it is with me.
Yes. Well, I do have to admit, and you are correct, this movie has not aged particularly well.
No.
Even though it's just from 2009, like it's still got kind of a sexist undertone to it, which is not great. Even though they give Uhura more due, which is good.
Yeah.
But
there are still a lot of things in this movie that I maintain that I like. The cast is good. I like the high energy of it.
Yeah.
Seeing old Spock interact with young Spock is fun. But I did rewatch this movie this time specifically with you in mind, Ashleen. And I gotta say, the number of I guess just blowjob jokes that are all around Uhura is a little odd. Like Kirk comments that you're good with your tongue when he first meets her, and then later on in the episode she's saying, "And you, Spock, said that I showed extreme oral sensitivity," and I'm just like, what? It's hard to ignore. This is a very, very flawed movie, even though I do like so much of it. Like, I love the engine room feeling like it's like a nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty dope, especially for that early in the timeline. You'll get the tall cylinder thing eventually, but they're not there yet. I love, what's his name is Nero. That line that he has is so good. You know what I'm talking about, right?
nonchalant sometimes. Yeah, I love. Like, I think Eric Bana is a fun villain, even though it's a generic revenge story. I think Eric Bana clearly has fun with the role. And again, like even though like I don't feel like this movie has aged particularly well, I always have to give it props because Star Trek was dead when this movie came
was
out,
dead.
and it resurrected it. It resurrected it.
My thing with this movie, like I listen, I always talk crap,
Mhm.
and I'm
Oh,
gonna take
talk
a
about it,
moment,
yeah.
and I'm not gonna do that this time.
Oh,
Because
whoa.
well, my thing is, I feel like I do this every time it gets brought up, and it's honestly more for the benefit of the listener than from you guys. And I'm just kind of making you guys listen to the same speech over and over again. And it's like they get it. And my thing with this episode is not that I think this episode, excuse me, it is a movie.
This story, yes.
This story is that it's not really necessarily that it's like super bad outside of that or anything, but it's that the stuff that it has that is good isn't really like it doesn't even really like the stuff that it has that is good just doesn't really appeal to my personal taste enough to make up for all of like the wild misogyny and stuff,
Mhm.
you know? And like I don't have
Well,
any issue with the cast, you know.
mhm.
I think they do a perfectly good job. And like my thing is though is that I'm not like the things that it has that it does do well aren't really stuff that I like a whole lot for the most part outside of that. And so it's like, you know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you know,
I
you bring it
prefer
to
not to.
misogyny and you got a good point. And that's the thing. Like, when I watch the original series, I'm almost expecting stuff like that. And I can forgive it more for the time period. And this is 2009.
This is
We should be doing better, guys. We shouldn't be doing better.
This is post Deep Space Nine. I can't
Yes.
accept this.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine did it way better.
It's like someone watched Enterprise and went, "Oh, everyone loved how they treated T'Pol on that episode. Let's treat New Uhura the same way."
I loved in Shockwave when Hoshi just loses her shirt randomly for no fucking reason. It was just like,
No, we were talking about that because it's so out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the thing with it too is that it's not really that I have like anything against shows having gags like that. I just wish that you would see it like my thing is though is I feel like if we lived in like a world without misogyny, you would see that sort of thing happening like around like the like just as much with guys, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Like I've never seen a TV show where they have a gag where a man is going through this tight tunnel and he's walking through and he falls down and his shirt, he loses his shirt and he's like, no.
And he has to
Don't
cover up
even
his
look at
nipples
me,
and be
you
like,
know?
oh no.
You're definitely on the point with that.
And you know,
it's-
like that was also wild too because the whole thing was supposed to be about Hoshi dealing with her fucking claustrophobia, and then we throw this gag in there, and it's like, oh god, what are we doing? What are we doing? But that's not. Yeah, that's Shockwave, which we already gave a C. But yeah, mostly because of part 2, and that is part 2.
Well, I mean, this movie has kind of the same thing in it, where it's just like, "Hi, I'm Uhura in my room with my girlfriend, and I'm just gonna take my shirt off now," and it's just like, okay, like we already had a girl in her underwear in that scene, and that made sense. She was about to have sex with Kirk. That's fine. It makes sense for her to be in her underwear. Why does Uhura need to get in her underwear?
Yeah.
So
Why
Kirk
do we
can
need
perv
that?
on her. So Kirk.
I was watching that scene initially, and I was sitting there, and I was like, "What is happening?" You know, like this is not. Like.
What's
So
funny is
I'll
for
be
me,
honest.
I think it gets worse in Into Darkness when there's that scene where what's her name
Oh
for
god,
no reason just strips down.
Eve, yeah.
She just
For
like
no
starts
reason.
undressing for literally no, like there's no explanation. With Uhura, you can say that maybe she wanted to change or something.
Yeah.
It's still weird, but like you could reason it out. With Into Darkness, it's like it's literally
so
no
forced.
reason.
Yeah.
She's just like turn around for a moment, and then she just like immediately starts getting undressed.
And then he
And then
looks,
he's
and
like,
she's
"What?
like,
Why?"
oh,
And she's like,
what are you
"How
doing?
dare
What are
you?
you doing?"
Like, what is happening?
And there's that shot where she's just standing there in her underwear, like, what?
Yeah.
What are you looking at? Like, I still stand behind Star Trek Beyond, but those first two movies,
I will stand up for Star Trek Beyond, absolutely, because that's awesome, and it doesn't do shit like that. What a shock! It's the best one of the 3. But
I'd say C for just regular Star Trek 09 because it's not D, but it's better than the other things in D, but it is on the weaker side.
see, I almost want to make a case for B because, like, I know you hate it, Ashling, but like, this was huge for the Star Trek franchise, and there are good things for it.
I mean, I do think it's one of those things where you need to take it in the context of its time. I still think it was bad for the context of its
Yeah.
time, especially considering it was Star Trek and they've done better in the past. And that's part of the thing that bothers me so much. Like
Mhm.
with TOS, I understand that it was made in the 60s.
Yes.
I can accept that and watch it, and I go in and I expect 60s nonsense. And from 2000s stuff, I do expect 2000s nonsense as well. But the thing about like this though is that it's Star Trek, and I knew that they could do better than this because they already did, and so it feels like it's regressing is the
Yeah.
issue for me.
No, 100%. And that's like
Like-
why Enterprise feels so bad sometimes. Like, because after
Yeah.
DS9, how do you go and do those decontamination gel scenes?
God,
Like,
those
I
are
just
so
think,
bad.
how do you do that?
I was so happy pretty much after the first 2 seasons when they just dropped the decon
Yeah.
scenes because
Yeah.
it's like they're so bad.
Yeah.
So are we going C or B?
I would how about can we have it maybe put in like high C compromise?
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So next up, we have our second and last Strange New Worlds episode. Actually, our last of the more new Trek generation. This is Tomorrow
Oh, you're
and
right.
Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
I liked this
And-
one. I had
Yeah,
never seen
this is
this one or this far into Strange New Worlds before, so this is actually the first time I saw Strange New Worlds Kirk.
yeah.
And I didn't immediately realize it was Kirk, and then I eventually clicked like, oh, I'm okay with this. Yeah, this guy's a great Kirk. So that was kind of a fun moment.
So when Paul
good.
Wesley first popped up as Kirk, I didn't really think it worked. And his performance as Kirk didn't really actually work for me until this episode, where I was like, okay, I'm starting to buy him as Kirk.
Well, that's
but yeah,
cool. That
this
works
is
out nicely.
La'an essentially goes back in time to modern day. I think it's 2024 or something like that again.
I think so, yeah.
Although it does better than Star Trek Picard season 2. Fuck. But essentially she goes back with an alternate reality version of Kirk. So this is not the Kirk we usually follow on this series.
Mhm.
So it's very closely related. And they go back in time on this little time travel adventure to try to solve actually refresh me, Lindsay. It's been a while since I've seen this.
Well, it's so like a bridge got exploded.
Yes,
and
I
the bridge
remember
was
that,
like
yeah.
symbolic of like the world coming together, and so it like divided the world. And so the Federation never came about, but there was still some version of Starfleet, and that's how we saw because Kirk was captain of a
Yeah.
ship. And yeah, they just have to stop the bridge from blowing up, and then eventually it becomes the thing about someone wants to kill Khan Nudian Singh before he becomes the terrorist that we know him as. And I thought that was kind of a cute moment where we don't see someone's not like, oh, I can travel through time and kill child Hitler. Someone's like, oh, we could travel through time and kill Star Trek's evil guy. I
Mhm.
thought that was kind of a fun, take on that.
Yes.
And Khan as a little kid was cute, and like the moment where Lanan, that's her name, Lanan or
La'an.
La'an.
Yeah.
Lon, thank you. Lon, like she realizes this is a child version of her ancient ancestor that has caused her so much grief. And what is it that she says to him? Something like, "You're where you need to be when you need to be there."
Oh, that sounds right. Yeah.
It's just a really great moment. I really liked this episode a lot. There's like one sunshot, like the sun's shooting, the sun's setting, and everything's way too orange, and that kind of bothered me. They kind of cranked the color grade up a little too much, but other than that, this was just fun. I love Strange New Worlds. It's just like comfort food.
Yeah, I would say comfort food's a good way to describe Strange New Worlds, but I don't think I'm quite as favorable as this one as you are, but I do like it. For me, this is also doing one of the things I dislike when it's like, oh, eugenics wars was supposed to happen in the 90s, but obviously didn't. So now we have to reset the timeline and change it. And I'm almost like, no, it's the Star Trek timeline. Just let it be. We don't need to reset it. But they do that here. They make Khan younger than he was in the original series, and it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think this is okay. I overall enjoy this. I don't love it, but I overall enjoy it. Where are you at, Ashley?
I agree with you in the sense that like it's not going to like we don't need Star Trek to have the same continuity as the real life
Mhm.
world, you know? Like, yeah, the eugenics wars happened in the 90s, and in 2024, all of the rich people wear like the little feathers in their hair and stuff. Why not?
Well, I mean, we're already doing a franchise with so many different timelines. I think it's fair to say, yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
happen in a different
Didn't-
timeline. I mean,
Didn't we get Irish independence in 2024 too, or something
probably
like
something,
that?
yeah.
Sure.
You know, like we don't need to retcon it. Like we can just say it happened like that there. You know.
What ranking are we thinking for this?
I mean, my thing is, I genuinely don't remember this at all.
Oh,
I
that
remember it,
hurts
but it's been a while. I lean B. Where do you think, Lindsay?
B's fair. Again, I liked it, but if it's kind of forgettable for the 2 out of the 3 people on this show,
Yeah.
you can't really putting it above a B seems like a tall order.
Mm.
And this is one I did watch today too, so maybe that's why I watched this in the Mud one today. Maybe that's why it's so fresh in my
Ooh,
mind. But
okay.
I really liked it. I quite did. Yeah.
Today, I watched Carpenter Street and Stormfront.
Nice.
Those are my ones I did.
Yeah. I went to work and napped today. I
You
didn't
earned
watch
those
Starbucks today.
naps, sir. I'm glad you got them in.
Ooh, next one's kind of a fun one. So this is
Yes.
a TNG episode, Cause and Effect.
Uh-huh.
So this is the TNG Groundhog Day, essentially,
Yeah.
except with the twist that there's nobody that remembers the time loop. Although
Right.
they do start getting like they start getting essentially deja vu. Like all the crew is like, we've done this before, right? Like, and they they start remembering. Like the big thing is the poker game, which is why I use that for the thumbnail. They start predicting the cards that are going to get laid down before they're laid down. And they're like, have we done this? Has Geordi gone to the sick bay before and complained of this issue? Like, this seems really familiar. And it's Groundhog Day. It's really familiar because they have done it before. Jonathan Frakes directed this, and one of the things he did that I thought was really cool was when he reshoots the same scenes over and over again, he always chooses different angles, which I thought added which is a cool way to show the same thing over and over again, but also make it feel fresher. So
I didn't notice that. That's super cool.
Yeah, I think there was once or twice where he used the same angle, but almost always it was a different angle. Like it was a nice touch. So, and that's also
cool.
more work to get different angles on the same shot just to make it look different. And kudos to him for the effort.
Yeah.
And this also is a Dr. Crusher episode. She's the one we're mainly following throughout all this, and so that's a nice touch as well.
It's a cool Crusher episode, although it fails in comparison to that one. Ghost.
That's true. She didn't fuck a ghost in this episode. That's a failure.
D tier.
I'm
D
pretty
tier.
sure.
D tier.
Let me double check this, but I'm pretty sure this also, like I called the Groundhog Day episode. I think this actually came out shortly before Groundhog Day came out.
Oh, really? That's fun. That's fascinating.
Let me double check that.
While you're looking that up, I have to say, just like the cameo at the end, like I don't think he was Kelsey Grammer yet at that point, but like just seeing Kelsey Grammer show up for 2 seconds in a Star Trek episode is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause this is before like Frasier and stuff like that, I think, right?
I don't know if it's before Frasier. It's definitely not before Cheers, though.
Oh, that's right. He was on Cheers too. I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Frasier's a spinoff, Lindsay. Come on.
Sorry.
Reminds
me of that one time. It was like one of the TOS Star Trek movies, and Christian Slater just like shows up, and I'm like, whoa.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh shit! Never mind. This came out a year before Groundhog Day.
Oh,
so it's
well
not even
before it.
close. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's kind of fun.
So yeah, this is the Groundhog Day episode before Groundhog Day was a thing. Before having Groundhog Day episodes was a standard trope. But yeah, I like how nobody knows they're in a time loop. They just have these deja vu and they're dealing with it. And and then they as it goes through, they're getting more and more pieces put together because they're remembering a bit more because like they're doing it more and more. It's getting more redundant. And there's even times where like, okay, we're figuring out what's going on. The issue is we're not going to remember when we repeat this. So we got to figure out ways to help us remember. And then, and they start figuring out, like, okay, we have to figure out how to prevent the event that starts the time loop. and essentially Data figures out, okay, I think I can encode my positronic net to subconsciously give me a signal as to what it is, but I won't be able to read it directly. And then on the last loop, we start seeing Data's, and they don't realize it's Data, but we as the audience know it's Data. He starts always dealing threes in the poker game, and everything he does that's related comes up with this a 3, and the crew's like, is this some sort of malfunction? But we as the audience know, because Data is there, he is doing it subconsciously without realizing it. And the whole thing was it's to tell Data to listen to Riker's suggestion to fix the problem instead of doing his suggestion, which honestly makes sense, because Riker gives a suggestion to because essentially they're about ready to collide with Kelsey Grammer's ship, and they do. And Riker gives a suggestion on how to avoid it, and Data gives a suggestion how to avoid it, and the crew automatically defaults to Data's suggestion because it's fucking Data. Of course, like, listen, Riker's great, but like, he's the robot that can do all these computations in a second. We're going to assume he probably has the best idea. But in this situation, he does not. Riker has the best idea.
Yeah.
He has to give himself a subconscious message to say, take Riker's advice, essentially. But I like this one. I think this one's awesome.
I really like this one.
Yeah. I think it's a cool mystery. Yeah. I mean,
well, I particularly like the poker scene when Data seems to like subconsciously know where every card in the deck is, and so he's able to deal out perfect triplicates to everyone. That's a really cool moment. When like, this is a great episode. At least A, maybe S.
Yeah. A.
I was leaning A, but like I'd be talking to S. What do you think, Ashley?
I'd go with, how about high A?
Okay.
High A.
It's a cool
I could be
one.
talking to S though too, honestly.
It's a really cool one. It's a cool mystery. I really like this one. Okay, so our final not our final, our penultimate Voyager entry. Endgame, the final episode of Voyager. Voyager successfully returns to the Alpha Quadrant after 25 years. And future Janeway decides it's not good enough and time travels back 18 years earlier to get Voyager back after 7 years instead of 25 years.
Makes sense.
I mean, I will say, as far as standing for character, like, that is totally a fucking Janeway thing to do. But it is like Timeless. I get Harry Kim because everybody died. Here, Janeway was successful. She got the fucking crew home. And she's like, no, we can do better. And I also get a little bit confused as why she chose 7 years. Why not just go back and prevent the whole caretaker thing? Like, what are we doing? Like, if we're going to do this, I don't know. I'm not overly thrilled with Endgame overall. I think it's a bit much. But what do you guys think?
I mean, I don't think it's very good, but I also think that this is the most Janeway thing to do
True.
ever. And I kind of gotta respect it, even if it makes no sense, because it's so her.
Yeah.
The thing that I've said before that I felt like they should have. This sounds weird, but like in a weird way, I feel like they almost should have like traumatized her more or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like they should have had it be like a thing where like not only is she like getting them back faster, but she's like preventing them from anyhow countering like some specific event that was like really terrible or whatever. Like I don't know, like give her something. Although I would still believe that Janeway would do this without any provocation, because that's just who she is.
Yeah.
You know? But I still wish narratively, I feel it would have been better if they had, like, I don't know, put Janeway through the ringer a little bit more. It's still a silly concept for an episode, but I'm willing to accept it.
I think the issue is they didn't want to repeat Timeless, but the problem is you have to escalate to something like Timeless to make it understandable why the characters would go that far to like potentially rewrite history to do something. Because Timeless, like, he killed everybody. I get it. Endgame, it's like you won. Take your W. But I guess you didn't win hard enough, so you got to go back in time and win harder.
Janeway's so funny.
Yeah.
I think it was when we were watching. Honestly, I wasn't super zoned in on Janeway for a while, and I think when we watched this for the first time, I was like, "Oh my god, she's crazy!
She's insane.
I love her."
Yeah, so This is not a great finale, but like if this had been like the season 8 opener, and then like all of season 8, there's 2 Janeways or something like that, that would have been so cool. I think the best final season ever,
I'm
man.
sorry, there are too
Yeah.
much balls in that series at that point. It's
Exactly.
way
There
too
were-
much. Way too much.
I would love a season 8 of Voyager, but there are 2 Janeways, and one of them. And I'd like to imagine that older Janeway is like significantly more crazy somehow.
Yeah.
You know,
She's just gotten worse.
and
with
she's
time,
always
yeah.
trying to like butt in on the command of the ship.
Mm,
That would be really awesome. I'm sorry.
I feel this is a C. What do you guys think? Mm,
C is fair.
I think you're right.
mm.
I really like that idea.
Though
though.
I will say yes, it is very
It's
Janeway
so-
thing.
It's
Yeah,
so in character.
yeah,
It's one of those things where it's like it doesn't make any sense, but like she would do it.
yeah. She's all in.
I also need to point this out real quick because this always bugs me with Endgame. Like, what the fuck does Janeway do to the like galaxy by bringing that technology back? And now suddenly the Federation has super torpedoes, a blade of armor that's basically indestructible in super warp. Like, I feel like the Federation just leapt forward like 50 years or something like that. And that's before we take into consideration the Voyager has like slipstream technology. Yeah, it didn't work, but someone else might be able to make it work and all that other stuff. I feel like the Federation just became the powerhouse of the entire Milky Way galaxy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me, though. I just, like,
So the next one is our last movie, and this one I almost didn't include, but I literally included it last night because I was like, you know what, I'm including it. Well, let me dive into it. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's Star Trek Generations. Essentially you could say time travel because Kirk ends up traveling to the future to help Picard fight Soren. And I feel like it's kind of incidental because it's not really about the time travel, but I ended up adding it because I thought about Soren. And Soren is this villain who hates time. He views it as a villain. And he wants to conquer time by getting into the Nexus. And I'm like, oh, I feel like that motivation is enough to put it in here. Plus, I think an argument can be made that Soren is like the proto version of Anarax, which is a villain we'll talk about soon enough here.
I can see that. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, but Star Trek Generations is a movie that definitely was plagued with production issues. It was very, very rushed, and it shows. And it kind of drives me nuts because there's great ideas here. There's a brilliant performance by Patrick Stewart here. And I wish they'd like just given this movie another year to cook, because I think it could have been something really special, because they were close to something special here. But as it is, it's kind of wonky and inconsistent with brilliant moments.
I have to
Right.
ask because I don't really remember this one super well, and obviously because you put it in last night, I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But is this the one where Picard? There's no way.
It's the Picard Kirk team
It's,
up.
yeah, I know
movie.
it's the Picard Kirk team up, but like, is this also potentially the one where Picard like kind of experiences his past again, and he lives in like Victorian England or something?
Yes. He gets that in the Nexus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is a great
He
movie,
is-
but
He's the most
yeah.
British Frenchman to ever exist, I swear.
True. But like I said, I feel this deserves a spot here for discussion just for the villain motivation, if nothing
Yeah.
else. And yes, Kirk does time travel here.
And it is fun seeing Kirk and Picard together. Like, that's not an empty thing to see. There is value in that, I think, to some extent or another.
And and it's always tough to do the transition because we're ending the original series movies because most of the cast doesn't want to do them anymore, and then we're going to bring in the next generation crew, and that's a tough transition to do. And I think the fact that it's a rough transition really shows in this movie, but like, they were close to something here, and it drives me nuts. He didn't just let this movie cook a bit longer, because they were close to something here. They had good ideas.
I agree. The moment when Picard learns his whole family's dead, if that doesn't get to you, man, I don't know what to say. Like,
Patrick
it's
Stewart
a powerful
just
moment.
acts the crap out of that, and
He really
he sells
does.
it. He sells it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the Data comedy stuff is like a little weak because it's like, come on, you could have cut a couple of those jokes out, but I don't know. Like, it's a good movie overall.
Yeah, I don't dislike it that stuff either. But yeah, it is a little strong. That being said, Data seeing the Enterprise D crashing and going, "Oh shit," legit iconic line.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Honestly,
And the whole
Data
crash
just
sequence is
naturally
embedded in
funny
them.
to me.
Sorry, I cut you off, Ashley, and say that again.
No. I said honestly, Data is just naturally funny to me.
Yeah.
Interesting. But the whole crash sequence is incredible. Like it looks so good even today. Like I know it's all miniatures, but like it looks great.
Mhm.
Justice for miniatures.
I feel like I want to put this in C.
Okay, C's good.
But I wish I could put it higher because there's good stuff here, but just it's so inconsistent in my opinion.
Yeah, C feels fair. My primary memory from watching this though is like we're at that scene where Picard like is at his home and there's like all the children there, and I'm like, Dad, why does Picard, as a man from the future, live in as a French man from the future, live in Victorian England?
Shut up. Now we got two kind of classics here that I thought we would wrap up. And the last one is our last TNG episode is the second final episode of Tasha Yar. Yesterday's Enterprise from TNG season 3. So essentially the Enterprise encounters this like wormhole, and then the Enterprise C comes out, but all of a sudden all reality changes, and the Enterprise D is now this warship, and they are fighting this battle against the Klingons. They are losing. Worf is obviously gone, although in the teaser they do introduce Worf's love of prune juice, which is fantastic.
So good.
So we get Tasha Yar is back as a security officer, and part of what they were doing with this episode is giving her a proper send-off, because Skin of Evil is not a proper send-off, but it was her last episode.
I think I might have seen Skin of Evil like once, and I remember, oh hi, and I remember watching it, and I was like, wait a minute, that's it?
Yeah,
she's dead now.
She lands on the planet, the mud monster goes, ugh, and she's dead, and it's like, what?
That is a red shirt scene if I've ever seen one.
Right, but it's a main character.
And then so I love this episode giving her a proper send off. I love this is a dark episode too, because they talk about how essentially the Federation's going to lose the war with the Klingons, because they're like, we can't send them back, they'll die. And Picard's like, okay, I'm not allowed to discuss this, so keep this to yourself, but we are losing this war. That ship here is not going to save us. That ship back then might save us. It's a dice roll, but it also shows the friendship he has with Guinan, because Guinan comes to him, and she's living in this time too, but because her species can kind of feel like when there's temporal disturbances, she goes to Picard and says, "This is wrong," and he's like, "Can you explain it?" And she's like, "No, I can't. All I can tell you is this is wrong. We are not supposed to be doing this."
I remember the scene where she's talking to Tasha Yar, and she's like, "Listen, I just feel like you should maybe be dead."
Well, yeah, it is kind of, it's kind of more nuanced than that, because
it is, but...
Tasha's like, "Why are you acting so weird around me, Guinan?" And Guinan's like, "Because I don't know you." And she's like, "What do you mean? I've known you for years." And she's like, "Yeah, I know you for years, but I also have no idea who you are. And I get the sense that you were dead when I came on board the ship." And it's dark, but it gives Tasha this opportunity to say, I'm going to go to the Enterprise C and help them, because they're low on crew.
Yeah.
I love this episode. I think this is S tier, but what do you guys think?
I'm with you. This is a very, very good one. It's great seeing Tasha Yar again. I love that she falls in love with Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore. It's 2
times Christopher McDonald gets to play not a dickhead.
Right? And he's so good at it. He's so charming and lovable. Like I love
being a dickhead is weird.
You already called out the prune scene, but I love that scene where Guinan and Worf are weirdly flirting, and he's like, "It's a warrior's drink." It's such a cute little intro to an episode.
I mean, you always see Klingons getting blood wine, and Worf's the only one that walks in someplace. Prune juice. So yeah, we're all S tier on this one.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and that brings us to an episode I love, but there's a significant issue with it. This is the Voyager episode, Year of Hell.
Oh,
or as I sometimes call it, the two-parter from hell.
Yes.
I kind of love this, but it also drives me insane. So, like, essentially, throughout this whole two-parter, Voyager is getting just destroyed by this alien race that has dominated this area of space. And the part of the reason they're so powerful is because they have weapons based on the temporal mechanics, essentially. So their torpedoes can, like, I guess, like, blink through different time periods and just tear through their shields like nothing.
Yep.
Just destroy stuff quite easily. And Voyager gets the crap beat out of them until they get one of the torpedoes lodged into their ship. They're able to figure out the frequency and build a shield as a defense. And that's when they stumble into Anarax, who is actually the main guy who's been causing all this, who's in this multi-century old time ship, who goes around and wipes species from existence. And
Played by Kurtwood Smith.
Yeah, and Kurtwood Smith, who is awesome here. And he wipes out as a species from existence, and then are like, oh wow, this didn't work the way we thought. There was an anomaly. This Voyager ship was completely resistant because they have new shields. It was completely resistant to all the changes in the timeline. And it's such an out of the frying pan into the frying pan moment, because, like, at first the change happens and all the ships that they've been dealing with are, like, tiny and pointless, and, like, Voyager can tear through them like nothing, even in its battered state. And all of a sudden they have to deal with this massive genocide creating time ship that's ready to rise into existence. This is such a cool two-parter. I really, really love it. I think Kurtwood Smith is great as Anarax. I love his, like, as much as I talk about, like, Soren's thing towards time, he has it here just so much worse.
Yeah.
And my only complaint about this episode that drives me insane is that they have to hit the reset switch at the end. So all this great storyline never fucking happens in this episode. So it's like, I love it, but it drives me insane. But what do you guys think?
I'm with you. It's very disappointing when you realize that none of this really mattered. Like, I'm not saying I want Tuvok to be blind for the rest of the run, but Tuvok gets blinded in these episodes, and like it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't need to be blind for the run, though. You could literally just have a few episodes. You could have, like, half a season where he's blind, or maybe just a few episodes until he gets synthetic eyes or something. You could deal with that.
The technology that they have, they could just, like, treat him.
I
That's
mean,
true.
hell,
He can
think of
Jordan
Babylon
Pfizer.
5. Jakar loses an eye. He goes with an eye patch for a while. And then eventually they put a synthetic eye into him. And it's kind of clever. They put a synthetic eye into him that's actually a human synthetic eye, but they're able to adapt it, but allows the actor to just have his normal eye on the one side for a while, which is kind of fun. But there are ways to deal with this.
Yeah.
I just, like, at least do a thing where, like, one of the characters remembers or something. Like,
Right.
it just drives me nuts that it's just a complete reset. None of this ever mattered.
Or like the
'cause I
temporal
really like
shields
this.
that they made. Like, maybe the temporal shields should keep going, so time things aren't like a big deal anymore. Like, just something should have gone forward. But with that complaint aside, this is a really good two-parter. Janeway is at possibly her craziest. She's literally suicidal at the end of it. I love Chakotay basically becoming his own Captain Ahab for trying to solve this equation. He's basically becoming Anarax. That's great. There's so much in this, and like Voyager is so beat up, and just I love it. I love it. I really do love these. This is I think my favorite two-parter from Voyager.
It's strong contender. Ashley?
I mean, yeah, there was stuff that I like about it, but it does seem kind of wild to watch all of that and just be like, yeah, nothing
Doesn't matter.
So yeah, God. Okay, so I feel weird saying this because I feel like the ending is such a letdown. I still feel like it's S tier. What do you guys think?
I'm down for that. Like a lower S tier probably because
I'll
but
accept it.
Yeah, I'll accept it.
If it wasn't for the ending, it would be an easy S tier. Let's be real. I mean,
yeah. Well, I also just have to say, I love the little moment at the end where Anorak is like working on his ship, but then his wife comes over and manages to pull him away from working on the ship, so he gets to have a life with his wife, unlike the original Anorak, who never made time for his wife. That's a very sweet. Like the ending isn't great, but I think that's a very sweet way to end the episode.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
I saw that, I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
yay!"
But then you see him put down the pad and you see he's working on the time ship stuff that he was doing before. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Have two options in life: become a genocidal time traveler or hang out with your wife.
No, the mystery. Yeah.
Which one will you choose?
But
And I
yeah.
also have to say, like, when because he's got that like artifact of his wife and like a time-proof
Mhm.
little thing. It's like a little
Yeah.
chunk of her hair. When that breaks and that hair just fades from existence, like freaking Kurtwood Smith, man, like
Oh man.
he brings a tear to my eye. Dude is such a
Dude.
good actor.
Well, that's the thing. Like he is insane in this, but like
Yeah.
he does make you sympathize with it. Like he's the way he talks about in time is absolutely insane. But you look at his story and how in his performance, and he kind of makes you understand where he's coming from. You know, it's
like,
weird.
he's saying like really bizarre stuff, and
Yeah.
it almost doesn't even register to you as being as odd as it is, because the acting is so good that you fully think that he believes everything that he says.
Yeah, he's
You
talking about
know,
how time
like-
has a vendetta. It's,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
after
And I'm
me.
just
You
sitting there
know.
and I'm like, mm-hmm,
Yep.
yes.
Sure it does. Sure it does. And then we walk away. It's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. The fuck? But yeah. Do we want to rearrange any of these at all? I kind of want to push yesteryear back a bit.
That's okay, yeah.
Yeah, that feels fair.
Do we want to put before or after Year of Hell?
But before.
Yeah, that's what before.
Okay, and then
Give it some
yesterday's
slack.
Enterprise. I kind of want to move up yesterday's Enterprise a bit as well.
That's pretty good.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Do we like City on the Edge forever at top? Because I think I can live
it's
with that. I
good.
think I
It's
like
good.
it. Yeah.
I'm not.
I mean, I think it was like the second time travel episode Star Trek ever did too, right? So
Mhm.
it's a really good one. It's a very early one in the subgenre for this series. I'm okay with it being on top.
Yeah.
Yep, I
It's
accept it.
really good. Yeah. And then let's see.
I love how our top
Osna-
two are the original series. That's great. The movie and the episode.
Yeah. But then we got TNG and Deep Space Nine, and
Yeah.
that works too.
And we got Voyager in there too. So there's like,
yeah, Voyager was able to sneak in there at the last minute. Yeah. And let's see. So A tier, Cause and Effect, Time Zero, Timescape, Visionary, All Good Things, Little Green Men, Times Square. I kind of feel like I want to move this up a little bit, but
It's okay.
That works.
I kind of
Honestly, nothing's really jumping out at me as not being okay.
Yeah,
Other
that seems like a decent order, honestly, just naturally.
Yeah.
And then let's see, Future Tense, Shattered, Face the Strange, Timeless, Yesterday, Relativity. I'd move this up a little bit, maybe.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Actually, maybe even here.
The closure that Lon gets at the end is quite nice. So
Mhm.
I'm definitely okay with that.
I'll give a little respect to
Cool.
Future Tense for being the one temporal Cold War episode that actually understood the mission.
The assignment.
Yeah. Let's see. So Shockwave.
Oh, is that the highest ranked Enterprise episode too? Is everything else in Enterprise?
I
B
think
or
so.
lower?
Yeah. Everything
That's
else
pretty
in
cool.
Enterprise is like C. Well, that was a
sense.
common theme of Enterprise. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's kind of crap on it a bit. And occasionally when it didn't do that, it's like, oh, that's good. Let's see. Honestly, maybe I'd move this back a bit, but that kind of works for me. And then Simon, yeah, no, I think this order works. I think we got it, guys. This is the objective
Boom.
Star Trek time travel list.
Aren't we special, guys?
Yes. Listen, you're allowed to disagree with us. Just know that if you do, you're wrong. Just
Oh my
saying.
God.
Look
I
at
was
us.
watching a video of this new YouTuber I found the other day, and what was the sign off? It's like, hey, if you liked the episode, leave a comment telling me, and if you didn't like it, lie.
That's a good one.
Right?
but yeah, I think that works out. So we'll have to discuss what the next stream will be. But I think that this was a big one.
This was
And it's good to get this like in there. So, and we didn't, guys, we didn't even cover all the time travel stuff we could have. There's more, but yeah,
there's a few that get even more timey-wimey than the ones that we're talking about here. So they're like time related, but they're not time travel. So
Yeah.
but I think this is a good list.
Like the one you were talking about with the Voyager speaking with the Romulan ship.
Yeah.
Like the fact that that's almost like the Sound of Her Voice, where it's like a twist at the end that's even time travel. Because at first we just think they're talking to somebody from the Alpha Quadrant.
Yeah. I know actually at the beginning when you brought up the list, my brain was like, wait a minute, but where's this one time travel one? And I was like, actually, no.
Yeah,
no,
there's too many already.
We are literally starting the episode. It is too late.
Well, which one were you thinking
I was
of?
thinking of Visitor.
The Visitor.
Yeah, I mean,
Wouldn't it count though?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I feel like because in some of these, they're not like actually.
Yeah, I don't know if
they're time travel.
Like, there's no time travel in that, but he does change time.
Yeah, like I feel like not all of these are they directly in time travel.
Yeah.
So like if
I mean, I would say normally I'd say no, but then Sound of Her Voice is on this, and that I feel
time traveled in that.
Yeah, there's no time travel in that either. So it could have ended up on here, but we already had a ton on here.
And also, I just realized now, the Furry Bastard 1964. We didn't even talk about the Kelvin timeline. Technically, that should be like it's an entire section of a time travel.
Well, I mean, we got 2009 on there. We got 2009.
Oh, that's true. We did. That's true.
Yeah, that wasn't completely disrespected.
The Kelvin timeline, and I just get a little bit scared.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess we'll figure out where our next stream is. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. Like and subscribe. Make sure to like this guy's channel, My 2 Cents of Nonsense. You also got Organized Chaos here, and I have the podcast logo in the corner because I didn't correct that, and we're already too late in. But it'll work. And then maybe someday Ashley will make her own YouTube channel. So make sure to like and subscribe when that happens.
Exactly.
Well, I've actually already started making content for her channel using AI. It's existed for about a year now. Like,
if I found out that someone made an AI channel of me, you don't even understand. I would crash out so hard.
Man, I saw that video of you going full Zionist, Ashley, and it was ridiculous.
Like, what would the goal even be? That's so petty. I barely exist on the internet.
So evil. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining us.
Thank you
Party
so much.
on. Be excellent to each other.
See you soon.